96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Good morning. Former Minister Bannister calling for the F&M to hold a convention. And a woman is attacked and killed by a shark near waters of Sandals Royal Bahamian Resort. That's all straight ahead this morning. I'm Chester Robards, filling in for Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's here. It's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is Tuesday, December 2023. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Again, I'm Chester Robards, filling in for Dwight Strachan, who's taking a break. And in a moment, DeQuesta Dean will be joining us. Also this morning, we'll be talking with Bark. You know them, they take care of the animals. And later in Morning Blend Business, we'll be talking about safety, especially during the holidays. But first, it's time for the overnight, the latest breaking news while you were sleeping, and the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, as tensions continue to mount in the Free National Movement, former F&M Minister Desmond Bannister, in an open letter to F&M leader Michael Pintard, yesterday urged him to call a convention. Bannister wrote, "I am respectfully urging you to call a national convention for the party at the earliest possible date. Any convention will be a referendum on your leadership, but all political conventions are referenda on political leadership. If you cannot retain that leadership post after more than 2 years serving in that capacity, then this is simply not your time. Once a convention is held and party members have been permitted to participate in free and fair leadership elections, the party leader will emerge with a national mandate on behalf of the F&M. Members will appreciate that they have the opportunity to freely campaign and vote for their chosen candidates during a national convention. The losing candidates will be bound by the party's mandate to coalesce with and support the elected party leadership team." That is Desmond Bannister's letter about a national convention. And a 44-year-old Boston, Massachusetts woman was attacked by a shark and killed 3/4 of a mile off of Sandals Royal Bahamian Resort in Cable Beach on yesterday morning. Police said she was paddleboarding with a male relative when the incident took place. There's a quote, "A lifeguard on duty who observed what was happening went out in a rescue boat, retrieved the victim along with the male relative, and brought them to safety," said Sergeant Desiree Ferguson, who told reporters police were alerted to attack shortly after 11:15 a.m. She continues, CPR was administered to the victim. However, she suffered serious injuries to the right side of her body, including the right hip region and also her right upper limb. EMS personnel pronounced her dead. In a statement, Sandoz said, "We are deeply saddened by the tragic passing of a guest while on a paddleboarding activity nearly a mile from the shore. We wish to express our heartfelt condolences to the guest's family and loved ones. We remain in close contact with them and are providing all support possible during this difficult time." And the country has crossed the 8 million visitor threshold with 1 month left in the year and 1 month of visitor numbers left to tally. That's November. Acting Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation Chester Cooper revealed yesterday at a ceremony at Margaritaville Beach Resort marking the occasion. Cooper said that at last count, not including November or December numbers, the country had surpassed 8 million visitors. In the now beaten banner year of 2019, the country marked a record 7.2 million visitors. He explained that to date in 2023, there have been more than 2 million stopover visitors, setting a new record for the total number of visitors in that category. The figure also means that cruise visitors to the country topped 6 million so far for the year, with the Nassau Cruise Port Chief Executive Officer Mike Mora telling the media yesterday that it is likely the cruise port will end the year having welcomed some 4.4 million visitors. And 14% of men surveyed reported having sex against their will. A study undertaken by researchers at the University of the Bahamas in the sexual and psychological abuse of heterosexual men in relationships found that 14% of men surveyed reported having sex against their will. The findings were published in the paper, Sexual and Psychological Abuse of Men in Heterosexual Relationships in the Bahamas, authored by UB researchers William Fielding and Virginia Balance. The paper delves into the less publicized issue of men who are subjected to sexual abuse and physical or psychological violence at the hands of their women partners. And Harbor Island left in darkness after 4 generators failed. Residents in Harbor Island and Luthro were left in darkness yesterday. BPL saying the failures, quote, "the failures are a direct result of contaminated fuel that BPL received in the past 24 hours. They continue similar to generation challenges late last month. This is the second time that contaminated fuel has been shipped to BPL's Harbor Island plant and caused significant damage to BPL's rental units and widespread outages for several days. BPL said a technician is expected to arrive on the island today to assist with repairs on the units. And in international news, Asian shares declined in cautious trading Tuesday ahead of some key reports this week on the U.S. job market that might provide insight into the Federal Reserve's thinking about interest rates. U.S. futures slipped and oil prices were little changed. Japan's benchmark Nikkei 225 slipped 1.4%. in morning trading to 32,782.14. Australia's S&P ASX 200 dipped nearly 1% to 7,056. South Korea's Kospi shed 0.3% to 2,506.32. Hong Kong's Hang Seng dropped 1.9% to 16,335.42, while the Shanghai Composite lost 0.7% to 3,002.09. A key report on Japanese inflation showed core consumer prices in Tokyo, which excludes volatile food prices, rose 2.3% from a year ago, slowing from previous months' increases. On Monday, the S&P 500 closed 0.5% lower. The benchmark index was coming off its best month in more than a year and reached its highest level since March 2022 on Friday. The Dow Jones Industrial Average slipped 0.1%, while the Nasdaq Composite dropped 0.8%. Treasury yields rose broadly, putting some pressure on stocks. The yield on the 10-year Treasury, which influences mortgage rates, climbed to 4.25% from 4.21% late on Friday. Technology and communication service companies were the biggest weights on the market. Microsoft fell 1.4%, Nvidia dropped 2.7%, Meta Platforms slid 1.5%, and Netflix lost 2.5%. Those are your news headlines. Let's take a look at sports. Carifta tickets have gone on sale. Bahamians traveling to St. George's, Grenada over the Easter holiday weekend to support Team Bahamas could get an early jump on tickets for the 51st Carifta Games as the online portal officially opened on Friday. The local organizing committee for the Grenada Carifta Games, scheduled for March 30th to April 1st, 2024, announced that Caribbean sports fans and patrons in general will have about 4 months to purchase tickets, but encouraged all to secure their seats early. And the Defenders continued its upward trajectory through the 2023-2024 New Providence Volleyball Association season over the weekend, taking down the Intruders in 4 sets over at the D.W. Davis Gymnasium. In the women's contest on Sunday, the Lady Warhawks disposed of the set-side Poppers in 4 sets. The men's featured match lasted an hour and 28 minutes, and the Defenders won 105 total points compared to 90 for the Intruders. They prevailed 33-31, 25-19, 22-25, and 25-15. In the women's contest, the Lady Warhawks won 98 total points compared to 82 for the set-side Poppers, and the match lasted for an hour and 27 minutes. The Lady Warhawks prevailed 23-25, 25-13, 25-21, and 25-23. On Friday, the Lady Spikers took care of the University of Bahamas Mingos in straight sets in the women's game. And in the men's contest, the Intruders lost again, this time to the Warhawks in straight sets. And over 200 youngsters, including 7 Bahamians, showcased their skills to coaches and scouts from about 100 colleges and universities, ranging from the National Collegiate Athletic Association at all levels down to the National Association of Intercollegiate Athletics in the sport of tennis in November. The USP, which is the University Sports Program, showcases College Tennis 2023 event took place at the Emilio Sanchez Tennis Academy in Naples, Florida. All 7 Bahamian teenage tennis players were able to garner interests among the tertiary level institutions. They are Sharano and Shivano Hanna, graduates of Anatole Rogers Senior High School in Southern New Providence, Leila O'Brien from Queens College, Sierra Rogers from Windsor School, Dentry Mortimer Jr. from St. Augustine's College, and Sapphire Ferguson and Kai Reese of Laurel Springs School. That's sports, and that's the overnight. Now it's time for your first look at weather. And here's your weather outlook for Tuesday, December 5th. The general situation, surface to low-level troughing across the southeast Bahamas will drift northwestwards while weakening today, while a cold front enters the northwest Bahamas today with little fanfare. In special warnings, beachgoers should remain vigilant due to the threat for rip currents along east coast beaches and along Atlantic exposures. Boaters and motorists should remain vigilant as some early morning patchy fog is possible and could affect visibility. For all areas, weather variably cloudy across the northwest Bahamas, with a chance of a few isolated showers mainly along the front. Partly sunny and warm across the remainder of the Bahamas, with a chance of an isolated shower or two. Winds northwest to north at 10 knots or less across the northwest and central Bahamas, and east to southeast at 10 knots or less across the southeast Bahamas. Seas 2 to 3 feet over the ocean, building up to 5 feet along Atlantic exposures. Your high temperature today, 85 degrees Fahrenheit, 29 degrees Celsius. Your low temperature tonight, 71 degrees Fahrenheit, 21 degrees Celsius. We'll have an extended outlook at the weather for you later on in the show. When we come back, we're discussing some of the day's top stories. That's when Morning Blend continues here on Guardian Radio 96.9, home of fresh news and smart talk all day.
Go CIBC First Caribbean. We help you
to get what you want this year. Spin the wheel of wishes with a trip for two to Miami. Spin the wheel of wishes. You can win loads of cash for Christmas. CIBC First Caribbean.
Win with your approved loan. Visit CIBC-FCIB/Wheel of Wishes for more information. Conditions apply.
Unlock dream deals this Black Friday at Alive with up to 55% off select Ring devices. Instantly upgrade your home security with 24/7 remote monitoring, motion detection, and instant alerts. Want full protection? Save even more by bundling your devices. From the front door to the backyard, secure your home with products like our Video Doorbell 4 and floodlight cameras. Shop online at BeAlive.com or at select Alive stores in Nassau and now available in Grand Bahama, Abaco, Eleuthera, and Exuma. Alive. Believe in best.
At Wendy's, we are different. We don't just use beef. It's fresh, never frozen. Our burgers are square because we never cut corners. Served hot off the grill with fresh lettuce, tomatoes, onions, and American cheese. We believe in fast food done right. Always serving fresh, never frozen beef. Order a hot, juicy Dave single, double, or triple. Made with fresh, never frozen beef. Now only at Wendy's. Different inside and out.
Ready to save? You can put $100 into the CFAL Savings Express plan and make sure your money keeps growing. Earn interest on your savings while you're sleeping, eating, or standing in line at the bank. Ready to invest? Start by putting $1,000 into our mutual funds and earn interest there too. Because at CFAL, your interest is our interest. Visit CFAL.com to start now. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations of Bahamians.
They coming! Tonkin celebrates the 2023 holiday season as the title sponsor of Junkanoo Jingle to Bay 5K. It goes down Saturday, December 16th, starting at 6 a.m. right at Arawaki. Bringing the Yuletide with the Christmas race of the season in downtown Nassau. Dress in your best Santa suits, be it wool, cotton, linen, polyester, or even lingerie. Then let's walk, run, roll, and rush to Junkanoo music straight to Bay Street. Form a team and register your crew. Junkanoo Jingle the Bay 5K is proudly sponsored by Tonkin, Oak Tree, IL Cares, Guardian Radio, the Walk-In Clinic, Radio House, and the Bahamas Humane Society. Register today by logging on to fourseasonsracemanagement.com.
Get ready to jingle all the way to Christmas with Fidelity's festive giveaway with over $10,000 in cash and prizes up for grabs. Apply for a loan or open an ASUS savings account for a chance to win big. Visit any of our branches for more details. Terms and conditions apply.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's the start of the end of the old way.
Welcome back to Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on www.guardiantalkradio.com and the Guardian Radio app for your smart devices, and on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 or BTC Flow Channel 612. Guardian Radio is all over social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I'm Chester Robards. Joining me in a few, Duquesadine. But you can join our conversation today. Be sure to like our Facebook page, facebook.com/morningblend969. Leave your comments and read what others are saying about topics on the show. You can email us at morningblend@nascar.com. Of course, you can always text us on the Guardian Radio text line, powered by BTC. Text us at 422-GR96. That's 422-4796. Standard text rates do apply. You can call us. We love to hear your voice. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. If you're on the Family Islands, 242-300-5720. That's your toll-free number to call us. Also coming up this morning, more weather and traffic, and then business news coming up in Morning Blend Business at 9 o'clock. We're talking about safety. In our 8 o'clock hour, we'll be talking with Bark about their spay and neuter program and Potcake Golf Tournament. But first, it's time to talk about what's in the news. And the big story in both newspapers is Desmond Bannister calling for an F&M convention. Telling the party leadership, if you aren't afraid of a referenda on your leadership, then call a convention. And let's see what else the story is saying. Bannister says, quote, "To delay calling a convention will diminish confidence in your leadership. Party members will question your confidence in remaining party leader, as well as your ability to raise the requisite amount of funds that will be required to hold a convention and to successfully contest a general election." Bannister added, "Should you win, your mandate cannot be subjected to legitimate questioning. Should you not win at convention, you will still be elevated in the lore of the nation, to use Lord Denning's categorization, with bold spirits such as Sir Cecil Wallace Whitfield, rather than as a timorous soul." He continues, "The country recognizes that even though he never became Prime Minister, Sir Cecil's efforts contributed mightily to our eventual victories at the polls. He may not have gotten there with us, but his contributions unquestionably helped to lead us to the promised land in 1992. In contrast, holding on to leadership without facing competition will weaken your leadership mandate, and your ability to win a general election will be open to question. So this story, written by our Candia Dames, our executive editor, goes on to say tensions within the opposition party were apparent long before the November 22nd by-election, with the so-called faction loyal to former leader Dr. Hubert Minnis pushing against a move by the party's leadership to block Minnis from speaking at constituency associations. The FNM's candidate in recent by-election, Bishop Ricardo Grant, received just 32% of the votes. The FNM lost ground in the constituency, given that in the 2021 general election, Pakeisha Parker Edgecombe got 38% of the votes. Some FNMs have claimed that the election loss is a direct failure of Pintard's leadership, something he has dismissed outright. Minnis had no involvement in the by-election campaign, though former FNM leaders Hubert Ingram and Tommy Turnquest featured prominently at rallies. Minnis had no comment when asked by the Nassau Guardian about his absence from the campaign. He has repeatedly faced claims within the party that he is undermining Pintard's leadership. And I'll stop there for just a moment. What do you think about that? What's going on within the FNM party? I mean, there seems to be a lot of jockeying for power in the FNM party since, since former Prime Minister Hubert Ingram left. There's no real clear defined top man within the FNM. This is just my opinion. The party is still searching for that big figure, and we know that Hubert Ingram was that big figure, and we understood that. But Hubert Ingram came from a group of leadership, Perry Christie and Sir Lyndon Pending. Those guys were almost groomed to lead. But since then, there seems to have been no grooming in the Free National Movement. The ascension of Brave Davis to Prime Minister was almost written in the stars. So, what's next for the Free National Movement? It's probably part of the reason Desmond Bannister is calling for an FNM convention, because even the party is not sure who can take the Free National Movement forward in a position of strength. We also want to talk about the shark attack. A 44-year-old Boston, Massachusetts woman, condolences to her family, but she was attacked and killed by a shark 3/4 of a mile off of Sandals Royal Bahamian Resort in Cable Beach, New Providence, yesterday morning. She was on a paddleboard with a male relative when the attack occurred, and she was brought back to land by a lifeguard on duty who grabbed a rescue boat to retrieve her and the male relative, but she couldn't be saved and was pronounced dead. This has obviously opened the floodgates for those people who have called for at least a partial season to hunt sharks. What do you think about that? What do you think about the fact that there's shark attacks all over the world? I don't think we have the record for shark bites. I won't say deaths. I have no idea what that is, but surely at least shark bites happen regularly across the world. But we've banned the killing and hunting of sharks for a very long time now, and some people think we have a proliferation of sharks, and that is leading to more attacks. People who study sharks say no, that's not what the problem is. What do you think? Let's get your opinion on that. And I guess what kind of relates to that, the Bahamas has surpassed the 8 million visitor mark. We set a new record, I think, in October, because the Ministry of Tourism has yet to count the November numbers, and of course, we are still in the month of December. So at the end of the year, we will mark a new record. 2019, 7.2 million visitors we had to our shores. And by the end of 2023, we'll have 8-point-something million visitors. What does this mean? Are you excited about the possibilities for growth in the country in tourism, the possibilities for growth in business? Are you going to be a part of taking advantage of the tourism dollars that are coming into the country that may be expanding? That for me, that's the most exciting part. We have a small community of people with which to sell our wares, and but we got 8 million people coming to the country, and what can we provide to them? Bahamians. So let's hear what you have to say. Good morning, Duquesa Dean, in the studio with me. You got that. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you today?
I'm great. It's great to see you.
Good to be here today.
Yeah, I'm all fired up this morning. Yesterday was rough.
It was
First day,
Yeah. That's how it feels this morning for me.
Oh, Lord.
So I'm glad that today is better for you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So some good stuff happening.
Yeah.
Record numbers.
Record numbers of visitors. Yeah, we're going to see at the end of the year exactly how many people came to the Bahamas. Of course, most of those visitors are cruise visitors.
Yeah.
Somewhere in the vicinity of 6 million.
Oh, I was just going to ask how many of them were overnight visitors.
Will
they give those stats too?
So the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation said yesterday, so about 2 million.
Okay.
2 million stopover visitors, which is an improvement from 2019.
Oh, great.
I think it was 1.7 something in 2019. So, yeah, very good there.
That's good. Good numbers.
The stopover visitor number is the number that they want to improve.
Yeah.
And because that's where most of the money
you stay
comes
longer,
in.
right?
Yeah.
You stay longer, you spend more.
Right.
I guess after all those lockdowns and all that sort of stuff, people got that travel bug.
Yeah.
So it's definitely reflecting.
Yeah. And of course, the Ministry of Tourism, saying all of the hard work that they've put into marketing the country.
Which is true.
They've
had some beautiful ads.
Yeah, paying dividends.
Yeah.
Of course, the Nassau Paradise Island Promotion Board, Atlantis, Bahama, they are a big marketing machinery in themselves.
Yes.
So
it all helped.
Yeah. Of course, the big thing, I guess, as well is the cruise port redevelopment that allows now for 6 ships to be imported at any one time, and 4 of those ships, I think it's 4, could be some of the biggest ships in the world.
Wow.
So the port can accommodate Icon class ships, Oasis class ships, and they can hold 4 of them, I think, at the same time.
But up to 6,000 passengers each or more.
Or more, yeah. So
great.
That's pretty big.
Yeah.
We just need to take advantage of it.
Correct. So we can get the downtown area.
Yeah. I'm a big proponent, if you don't hear it in my voice, of Bahamians taking advantage of this increase in tourism numbers and finding some way to benefit from it.
Absolutely.
in their daily lives.
Absolutely.
Entrepreneurs especially.
Yeah, because I think we've seen an increase in the different types of tours in the last few years as well.
Yeah.
You know, like Jeep tours and
Yeah.
AV tours and
Yeah,
so all
yeah.
sorts of things are popping up. So that's great.
Yeah, and that's what we need more of.
Yeah.
And we need to distinguish ourselves from the other stops that cruise visitors have to
Absolutely.
make, right?
I look forward to a cultural something,
Yeah.
you know, a cultural show or
Yeah.
when you travel, you get to feel the culture of a country, you know, Kong style dancing and, you know, that old school type
Yeah.
platinum maple, that sort of stuff on a consistent basis that, you know, our cruise passengers can enjoy what is, you know, culturally ours.
Absolutely. And you know what, when I and this is why traveling is so important, I think, and I think people should take the time out to really visit other places because you get to understand what you can do in your own country when you come back.
Yeah.
But I visited Key West years ago, and every evening, almost every evening, there's some kind of like show, people's street performers, you know, right there on the waterfront, and people are like gathered around watching these little shows and tossing them money.
Yeah.
I mean, every day
Yeah.
they're out there, and people are, you know, they're
That'd
getting
be
paid
great
for
to
it.
see. It really would be great to see. So I hope some emphasis is also placed on, you know, the downtown area,
Yeah,
more little pubs and restaurants, more of that street music. Because during the day, if you walk down there, you do have one or two people playing
Right,
guitar
yeah,
or
yeah.
steel drums or something like that. So, you know, perhaps we can see more of that happening and just make this city center
Yeah,
alive.
bring it alive.
Yeah,
Definitely. Some of these text messages coming in are about the F&M convention. Let me just read a few of these. Boy, if you would... Wait a second. Let me start from the beginning. No. Okay. Yeah. Boy, if Hubert Ingram ran, I'd almost bet he'd win. But I highly doubt he'd run again. For God's sake, don't let it be Bannister, Minnis, Ellsworth Johnson, the DRA man, or Adrian Gibson.
So who?
Well, I mean, I think that was the point, right? The point that I was making earlier was that there's no clear, definable leader of the FNM right now. The former leader was groomed. The Dr. Minnis was almost chosen by one would think almost by the former leader, Hubert Ingram. So, you know, if he said that's my boy, everybody else say that's our boy. But now it's not like that. In the FNM, it seems.
Well, I don't know how much emphasis was placed on succession planning and mentorship and that sort of stuff within
the
political parties because they're not just relevant in corporate organizations. That's like a business
right.
too.
Yeah.
So there should be someone that's sitting in the wings that has the potential. But just the other day, a conversation that I was having was that, in my opinion, and what it looks like is that. For politics, it's more of a. If you take a look at all of the former prime ministers, some of them are, excuse me, really great friends, and so you know they all at one point wanted to be prime minister, and they basically worked that. I don't see that sort of thing, and you can't really go in politics with an independent mindset.
Yeah.
You have to fall in line, and you can't show division. If you do, you're kind of the black sheep, or you're falling from grace.
Right.
And so, you know, for people that may have creative ideas and people that may want to lead, that would definitely be something that would be like, okay, this may stifle me, and is it worth it?
Yeah.
So we need to see deeper change as it relates to the involvement of all of the candidates, not just the younger ones, but also the more experienced potential candidates, to bring their thoughts and ideas about new leadership and to have the opportunity to be more at the forefront instead of just like a falling in line and waiting your turn and doing what you're told. I mean, I don't know what you think about that, but That's essentially how I see it.
Yeah, no, I agree. And like you said, and like I said before, the former leaders, Barry Christie, Hubert Ingram, were groomed for the positions. They came up under Sir Lyndon's wing.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
But as you saw leaders come up in the Free National Movement, this isn't the first time. So this is not like, I don't think so. I think you've had Sir Kendall, Sir Cecil, all kind of led the party at some point, but never became prime minister.
Right.
So, but the charisma, I think, that Hubert Ingram brought, even Barry Christie, to their parties, I don't know if you're finding that in other people. Like I said, Brave Davis was the obvious person who was going to move the PLP forward. And you can almost say, I'll dare to say, that Chester Cooper is the obvious next in line to lead the Progressive Labour Party, right? And he's shown himself kind of strong in his position as Deputy Prime Minister. Where's that in the FNM? I don't see it. I don't feel it.
This is true. This
is probably where the party is split,
right?
Because they also don't see it or feel it.
I agree with you. And looking at it, I oftentimes wonder who's really pulling the strings within the FNM party. Is it still Hubert Ingram? Is it the current leader? Like, who is it? And why is it in the state that it is? I think, and again, these are all my opinions. It's kind of muddy, in my opinion, with allegiances, because you have, like you said, you have Perry Christie, you have Brave, you have Hubert Ingram. They were all at one time law partners together, working together. That's like a real kinship. And so for me, it's like, okay, which side of the divide are you on? Are you with this party? Are you with that party? So for me, when I look at it, I get a little bit confused, particularly when you read the news and you see that, well, Ingram endorses this person and you have an actual leader of the FNM. And so it's for me, it's just like a lot of confusion. It's not like you're saying, it's just not clear. And it needs to be clear.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's read some more of these text messages. This person's going on to talk about the shark attack. I think that's one shark that found an easy food source and is hanging around. I don't know about that. They also talk about the 8 million record. Set a new record and they can't pay nobody. It's time to stop talking about meaningless indicators and point to something that means government vendors can get paid on time and electricity and food rates don't explode. They are connected, but not really connected. I mean, tourism brings in tax dollars, sure, but their biggest revenue comes from us. VAT.
Right.
And if we ain't paying, then people ain't getting paid on time, right?
But just to be real, they could pay more timely. I know
I'm sure
some
they
vendor
could.
friends
I don't
who
know if they
haven't
could.
gotten paid for like 4 months or 5 months, and that's kind of ridiculous if you have people working and they have families to feed. So to some extent, I agree.
I mean, I've heard the horror stories.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the system.
I don't know what it is.
Or if they waiting for some
I
money
don't
to
know what it
land
is.
before they could dish out money. I don't know what it is.
Maybe they should stop giving out such huge contracts. And I don't have the capacity to pay. I don't know, but there's a bunch of things are built up in that.
There are, and I've only heard the stories, but there are ministries that ask their staff to dig into their pockets for travel and room and board sometimes and tell them we'll reimburse you.
Oh, wow.
But imagine if I'm living hand to mouth and
Right.
you ask me to do that, I ain't going nowhere
right.
because I can't afford it.
Right.
Even if you're going to reimburse me.
Absolutely.
What a time.
What a time.
This person says, reminder that if you look at it from the end of more people to make I don't understand what this text message is saying, so let me not bite my tongue. This person says, Chester, I don't agree with Desmond on many things, but call a convention. If they want to get rid of Richard Johnson, have a convention. They will not. They scared. And then they say, watch the FNM take credit for 8 million visitors. The port, LOL. Diaghilev took credit after being in office for less than 6 months when they came to office in 2017. Did he?
I don't know. Maybe a plan was in place. Who knows?
Here's the text message. The last F&M administration did an awesome job with the port. Yes, they built it with their own hands. This person says, good morning, Chester. If we go into the next election with Pintard, this will be another election I'll sit out. And they say Dwayne Sands for leader. Okay. All right. The PLP, that's another text message. The PLP filled with leadership. The next leader for the PLP is Chester Cooper. I feel some type of way that they messed up his first name because people do it to me all the time.
What
it
did
says
they
Cheater Cooper.
Oh.
It's Chester Cooper.
Chester.
Anyway,
Well,
I was gonna tell a story, but anyway, that's fine.
he certainly displays the charisma.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know, and the connection.
Yeah.
I think he definitely has the gift of connecting with people. I think he makes it a point.
Absolutely.
To do that.
And he's very careful when he talks off the cuff.
Yes, he is.
He's very guided in the things he says.
And respectful of his leader.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And that's super important.
Oh,
right?
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I don't know who started the Cooper Davis tagline, but I don't think it was Davis. But this is something we hadn't heard before.
Correct.
And so that continues to bolster in the minds of Bahamians that, hey,
right,
I'm here.
Right.
Up next.
Correct. But he does an amazing job at his social media too.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
he stays relevant. He let people know what's going on.
Yeah.
So you view him as someone who gets things done.
Yeah, absolutely. This person says, 500,000 for Christmas decorations and can't get paid on time. Suck my teeth, make it make sense.
What a time.
Well, if you want them done, you got to pay for them.
But have they gotten paid?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know if the person who's doing decorations have gotten paid. But some ministries pay differently than other ministries. Some ministries take a while.
Right.
Some ministries don't.
Boy, I would love to know the machinery behind that. Like,
yeah.
You know.
Yeah. It is what it is. It is. Speaking of decorations, I think I don't know, is it called Big Pond Park? The park there just on Blue Hill Road, across from the Super Value.
I know the park that you mean. Is that where like the Edmund something building is?
Yeah.
I think I know where you mean. Yeah.
The decorations there. It's all white
nice.
lights and like a trellis and stuff. It's beautiful.
I have to drive by.
Kudos to whoever did that and whoever commissioned it. It looks great. I want to see more like that. So this about getting paid. I don't know. I don't know how it works. I don't know how government ministries decide who gets what and how quickly they get it. But like I say, some ministries are quick on the draw. They will direct deposit the account.
These are all questions that you need to ask when you're getting a contract. Like what are the timelines? What are the payment methods? That sort of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
And not just leave it up in the air.
Yeah. Another text message coming in says, Motor Mouth Pintard, always talking about the BPL hedging and performing for the camera in Parliament, isn't working. Give solutions and stop talking about hedging. That's... And this is part of why I think political parties need strong public relations departments and machinery, even chairman. And I think Dwayne Sands is a good chairman. He doesn't... some people jump on any little thing that the government does just to have a response, and some of us think it's just ridiculous to respond to some of the things, or that they didn't really think it out before they actually responded. Some parties don't even look back at their own party and say, wait, we did that when we were in government. We shouldn't say it like this.
Right.
Because we look like hypocrites. Those things need to happen. People need, and there are great companies out there who can do that for these parties, but they still also hire foreigners who know nothing about the country or, the inner workings and feelings of Bahamians who try to guide them on their public relations. Right. So that's a different topic.
I can't remember who it was who said it, Chester, that history is a great predictor of the future. So if you just take time to sit in reflection
Yeah.
and look at what some of the greats did, look at some of the political mistakes that were made over the last, 50 years or whatever. There's so many lessons that you can use to catapult yourself as a leader and also know what to avoid.
Right. Yeah.
So that's point on.
Yeah, and they have to remember too that we're in 2023. You're not campaigning as if the internet isn't around, as if we still didn't have 1,000 radio stations and a bunch of newspapers.
Yeah.
The internet remembers.
Yeah.
And people will dig up your dirt and call you out on it.
For sure.
And this is how political ads get made too. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be more careful. You got to stop treating the Bahamian people as if they're still lost and a bit sheepish. I think there are a lot more young minds who haven't sworn allegiance to a party.
Anyway.
And maybe don't ever care to, but they will listen to what you have to say, and they'll call you out on your foolishness. So, I think you have people who are part of a party and they will vote for you no matter what.
Correct.
And it's thousands of those people. Some like this. I guess this person said they'll stay home.
Right.
But there are some detractors of the leadership. So you have to be careful. The FNM really is in a sticky situation, especially with, and I guess the next next election is just around the corner. Really, I mean, time is flying.
2 years, eh?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
I mean, no disrespect intended at all, but there are times when I don't even remember who the leader of the opposition is, and I don't mean that in any disrespectful way.
Yeah.
I just mean that we need a clear choice. Right. It needs to be, okay, this is a no-brainer for me to come out and vote for this particular person.
Right.
And like I said, I'm not being disrespectful to anyone.
Yeah.
Just as a regular citizen of this country, I don't see a really strong opposition. And, I hope I don't get fired for saying that. But, yeah. I'm sure my phone is going to start blowing up soon. Some faithful FNMs that are going to start messaging me, I'm sure. But if you listen to what people are saying, that information could be used to help with decision making.
Yeah, absolutely. This text message coming in, if you look at it from the perspective of more tourists means more people for us small people to make money off of, this inefficient government will find ways to take those extra earnings from you, okay? We need indicators that point to reduction in corruption, reduction in waste, and increase in productivity and value for money in government. And for God's sake, not 62 Chinese illegal immigrants. Huh?
Throwing shade.
Oh, that's what they're doing. Okay.
But that's a process mine right there, for sure.
No, but I mean... if that could actually be a thing for an upcoming leader, right? If that's the talk that you have, if you say you're gonna stomp out corruption,
and do something
and do some stuff,
correct?
Maybe you'll
correct
and say it regularly,
correct.
If you were a leader of a party, right now, especially a party that people aren't sure about, you need to be on the street. And if you really want to lead this country, you need to be on the street every day. Yeah. And not just answering the government when you think they make a mistake. But again, like the person said, talking about what you want to do and what you're gonna do.
I agree with you.
All the time. Whenever you have some
be seen,
yeah,
be heard, make sense with it.
Yeah.
When teaching my clients in corporate, one of the key concepts of leadership is people have to buy into the leader.
Right.
And if they don't buy into the leader, then
you ain't gonna lead.
You're gonna have a lot of problems, right? So you gotta get people to buy into you, essentially.
Yeah.
Right. And what does that take? What does it take to get people to buy into you?
Yeah.
And that's the key question that needs to be answered. What do people want? What do they need?
Yeah.
What are the problems and what are the solutions and how you could start implementing them?
Yeah. And you know, I guess Dr. Minnis had that momentum when he first came in. You know, he said, you know, we don't care if you give us one term. We come to change things. And I guess in terms of finances, the financial position of the company, they were really trying to do that. But again, they ran into hurricane.
Yes, and shutdowns and a lot
and
of challenges.
COVID. They had a lot of challenges.
Yeah.
And that's when they started to trip on their own feet.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I mean, hey, you get tested in many ways.
But, you know, when I look at that too, though, Chester, what I kind of take away from that is people say they want a structured leader to impact change and to eliminate corruption and they want process and all of that. But when you actually get that, then that creates another type of problem because you don't really want it. Right?
Yeah.
So, it's a double-edged sword.
It's true. Oh. It's my bust up computer. This person says, Grand Rising, Mr. Pintard will make a good prime minister. So would Chester Cooper. Minnis failed. Okay. A lot of people feel that way.
Yeah, but he was prime minister.
Yeah. The F&M has always been a chaotic bunch, from the Loretta Minnis leadership fiasco to constant infighting. PM Minnis was the worst prime minister ever, and I doubt Bahamians will forget his COVID reign. No convention was called in his time as leader, and his 2 or 3 supporters now must work for the PLP because he would never be voted in as PM again. Okay. Good morning, Chester. These people do not care about looking like a hypocrite. All they care about is power and the money. Well, some of them don't need money, but I guess a little bit more can help. This person said, we can't eat Christmas lights, Chester. You're getting paid on time. We aren't. Hey, I'm with you. You know, I want y'all paid on time. Oh my goodness. That's not where I'm going with this. I'm just saying the lights look nice. I can't be on both sides of the coin.
No, the lights look nice.
The lights look nice. Pay the people.
Nice, yeah.
This lousy, no good administration have to go. Okay. The PLP bought out the media. That's why they are getting away with garbage. Notice all the media personalities that roasted the former administration. They all were rewarded handsomely. The PLP is a gangster.
Say gangster.
I'm not going to read the rest of that. Okay. The F&M keeps talking about how the fight for women, but this is the first time in 40 years the F&M have no elected women in parliament. He should have ran Pakisha. This person says, I taken that Dequessa, be seen, be heard, makes sense. I like it. Oh, they're taking your line there. Yeah. No, I'm with you. Like, pay the people.
Yeah.
You know, I'm all for. I'm not trying to say that the lights look good and
people need
the
to
government.
eat.
People need to eat. And like I said, I don't understand.
Maybe someone could call and tell us. Like,
I always wonder if people are gonna call and tell us how it works, but they don't. Yeah.
Like when you get a contract, do you get like a 50% deposit in advance for the life of that, for whatever, and then you get different installments, or do you just start working and 3 months later you get a payment? Like what is the actual?
Maybe that's what happened with the Christmas tree.
I'm gonna
make a terrible joke. They got half the payment, you got half a tree. I don't know.
I want to know, Justin.
I don't know how. I really don't know how it works.
I want to know how it works.
I like I said, I've heard the horror stories, but I've also seen.
But not just about contracts, because I've heard government workers say that they would go to work and it'll be 2, 3, sometimes 4 months before they get paid. So, like, what is it? Help us, somebody, please.
I wish somebody would answer the question. and I don't. I kind of take a little bit of offense to people who still think that the media is not still strong without certain people who have gone to government for new opportunities. I don't think that's true. I think the media is still strong. There's still great people, great reporters who are trying to hold the governments in opposition, whomever's feet to the fire. That's still happening. So, is he still there? Let's go. Let's take this break. And Morning Blend is going to return on the other side.
96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's the start of the end of the old way.
This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Wish for all of you. Get a no-fee loan from RBC. It's true.
This Christmas, your wish could come true with a no-fee loan from RBC. You have 5 chances to win up to $5,000 Christmas cash.
It's a Christmas wish for all of you. Get a no-fee loan from RBC. It's true.
Learn more at rbc.com/Caribbean/Christmas cash. Subject to normal lending criteria. Conditions apply.
It's time for your Morning Blend Traffic Alert, brought to you by RBC. This segment of Morning Blend is brought to you by RBC. Get a no-fee RBC loan, plus 5 chances to win up to $5,000. And your traffic hotspots this morning. You're not surprised to know Somala Butler Highway. Some sticky traffic in areas, but the traffic not too far past the roundabout at Fire Trail Road. The traffic on Fire Trail Road is building in the eastbound lane. Glasson Road traffic, it's moving, flowing a little bit. Gets a little tight just before the roundabout at JFK. Some traffic building on JFK eastbound and JFK westbound. But traffic flowing there at the intersection at Prospect Ridge and JFK. Traffic is building there at the roundabout at Saunders Beach early this morning. You might want to get out now and get to that area if you have to take that route. And as we head east, Eastern Road, oh no, it is pretty congested, but we're not all the way back to San Souci Road as yet. So if you are on the Eastern Road or having to take the Eastern Road, you want to get out now before that traffic backs all the way up to San Souci. Blue Hill Road, that's tight already in the northbound lane, and that is causing, of course, traffic to build up on Carmichael Road eastbound. Blue Hill Road there at the intersection of Carmichael Road. Traffic is building up there. It's not as thick as it could be and likely will be later. Those are your traffic hot spots this morning. This segment of Morning Blend brought to you by RBC. Learn more at rbc.com/Caribbean/Christmas cash. And here's a look at weather for you at 7:38 a.m. Unleash the power of electricity. Test drive an electric vehicle at Easy Car Sales and discover the instant torque, quiet ride, and power of an EV. Visit easy242.com and plug into the evolution of transportation. In weather, your general situation, surface to low level troughing across the southeast Bahamas will drift northwestwards while weakening today, while a cold front enters the northwest Bahamas today with little fanfare. Special warnings, beachgoers should remain vigilant due to the threat for rip currents along east coast beaches and along Atlantic exposures. Boaters and motorists should remain vigilant as some early morning patchy fog is possible and could affect visibility. For all areas, weather variably cloudy across the northwest Bahamas, with the chance of a few isolated showers mainly along the front. Partly sunny and warm across the remainder of the Bahamas, with the chance of an isolated shower or two. Winds northwest to north at 10 knots or less across the northwest and central Bahamas, and east to southeast at 10 knots or less across the southeast Bahamas. Seas 2 to 3 feet over the ocean, building up to 5 feet along Atlantic exposures. Your high temperature today, 85 degrees Fahrenheit, 29 degrees Celsius. Your low temperature tonight, 71 degrees Fahrenheit, 21 degrees Celsius. We'll have your extended outlook in the 8 o'clock hour.
There's a new electric vehicle in town, the Jack brand of SUVs, trucks, sedans, and commercial vans, available only at Easy Car Sales, home of the fully electric vehicle. For a powerful, smooth ride at a fraction of the cost to drive, leave the pump behind and hit the road with Jack. Visit easy242.com to see our brand new Jack models and drop into Easy Car Sales for a test drive. It'll have you singing. Hit the road with Jack, and don't you pump gas no more.
Take some advice from your Aunt Angie. If you want to go scuba diving on your vacation, don't bedazzle your wetsuit. And you think you look great, but what you don't realize is that you look like a shiny, scaly fish. And it won't take long for a shark to notice you. Next thing you know, you're busting out every karate move you got. But if you're smart, you'll have CG medical insurance and get airlifted out to the closest hospital.
Get coverage for emergency evacuations. CG Atlantic Medical and Life Insurance. Good like that. All benefits are subject to policy provisions, including eligibility at the time of service.
Cashmas time, here we go. Percy's doing it big this year. Cashmas time with extra chair. 12 days of merry winnings from your friends at Island Game. Friends we trust, hey we know. Cashmas time, here we go. Prizes and lots of dough. This Christmas, come catch a lick with 20 on your account. Quick, quick, quick. And you can win some awesome stuff at Percy's Island Game.
The National Insurance Board encourages all employers and self-employed persons to stay ahead of the 2024 rush by scheduling a meeting with your inspector today. A one-on-one appointment with your inspector ensures that your account is up to date and compliant, making it a hassle-free process when applying for your tax compliance certificates and business license renewals with the Department of Inland Revenue. Stay ahead, avoid delays. Keep your business thriving. Contact your inspector now. Your success is our priority.
Magic of Christmas at Nassau Cruise Port all December long. Visit Santa and his helpers at Santa's Workshop for holiday photos. Enjoy Christmas caroling, wreath decorating, mixology classes, and movie marathons. And of course, come for the great concerts and holiday shopping. Nassau Cruise Port is your ultimate destination for Christmas fun. Visit NassauCruisePort.com and follow us on Facebook and Instagram for details. Nassau Cruise Port, the place to be.
The Water and Sewage Corporation celebrates you this holiday season. Make your bills merrier and brighter with our exciting holiday promotion. Pay your bill in full between December 1st and 15th, 2023, and you'll automatically be entered for a chance to win amazing prizes. Simply visit any Water and Sewage Corporation location or our social media pages to find out more about the promotion and how you can participate. This holiday season, let us make your bills merrier and brighter. Happy holidays from the Water and Sewage Corporation.
When faced with an illness like cancer, we band together, and we at Cleveland Clinic in Florida have your back. From advanced cancer treatments to extra safety measures at all of our locations, we're with you on this journey for every infusion and follow-up, for every step of the way, for every care in the world. Cleveland Clinic in Florida. Get the care you need when and where you need it. To learn more or connect with a local representative, visit clevelandclinic.org/Caribbean.
'Tis the season for sharing with loved ones and friends, and a time for reflection on the year soon to end. But before this year ends and the new has to begun, we at Screws and Fasteners World would share a gift too, though it be only one. for trusting our services in projects great or small. We thank you for stopping by or giving us a call. As we bid farewell to this year at its end, should we not meet tomorrow or on the other days round the bend, have a happy Christmas and a safe celebration till we meet again next year for another collaboration.
Power on the holidays this Christmas with Custom Computers. We have everything that everyone wants to see under the tree. Laptops, iPads, AirPods, Apple Watches, Bluetooth speakers, and more. Find gifts for every reason this Christmas season at Custom Computers. Visit us on Patton Street in Palmdale, opposite Liquid Courage, or in Caves Village through the Blake Road entrance. The best Christmas has to offer is right here at your one-stop shop. Custom Computers.
It's $1 million Christmas and Everybody Wins is hooking you up. From December 1st to December 29th, you can win cash giveaways. Get into the cash vault, spin and win, and take advantage of other random raffle drawers. Prizes like mortgage payments, rent payments, utility bills cleared, cold cash, and more. To enter, you must sign up and get a verified account and simply spend $20 or more and you're in. To be eligible, you must be 18 and over. It's $1 million Christmas with Everybody Wins. Terms and conditions apply.
What would you do with extra cash? Plan a trip.
Overhaul my wardrobe.
With CIBC First Caribbean, you can get comfy with savings on your mortgage cost. Buy or build your home or switch your mortgage to us and get up to US $1,000 off the loan application fee. Up to US $2,000 off home insurance. With up to US $10,000 towards switching costs, your pockets will be comfy too. Visit CIBCFCIB.com/get comfy for more information. Conditions apply.
Yeah, yo, Dwight, we're finishing.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. I'm Chester Robards along with DeQuesta Dean. And we're still talking about what's in the news, kind of breaking down and giving our opinion on the Free National Movement and the former Deputy Prime Minister at one point, Desmond Bannister, calling for a convention to be held. And telling the current leader, who is Michael Pintard, if you're not afraid, if you want the mandate, call a convention. And saying basically, ain't no shame in your game if you lose. You were a party leader. And blowing a little smoke there, I think, in his letter.
When was the last convention?
I have no idea. Maybe it's in the story somewhere.
I looked just now.
Oh, yeah? You didn't see it?
Yeah, I didn't see it.
But it's true. It's true. There is a lot of talk about the F&M, where the party's headed, who they want to lead it. You know, you're hearing Dr. Minnis is going to jockey for power at some point. So I guess the only way to do that is a convention. And so maybe the people who are Team Minnis right now are saying, hey, let's do this.
Maybe a new leader will emerge.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. But you got to do it to see.
You got to do it to see. You got to do it to see. I don't know if Dr. Dwayne Sands will be, maybe, some people say they want to see that.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Well, it'll be interesting to see for sure.
Yeah. We got a call coming in. Let's take this call. We haven't heard some voices this morning. Good morning, caller. Welcome to Morning Blend.
Good morning, Chester. Good morning, Donnie.
Good morning.
DeQuesta.
Yeah.
Just to comment briefly on this saga that is going on here in the F&M.
Yeah.
I'm very appalled and basically embarrassed to see what is happening to one of the oldest political institutions in the country.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we have some person who would have either been given a position by Dr. Minnis or who would have secured contracts to that extent. They're all now lined up and calling for this return that has to have that basically don't have any scientific research or studies under it. You know, I mean, if they were to go into, I'm almost certain that they didn't go into every constituency to get the general consensus of how people really feel about the previous administration. You know, it seems to me that they haven't really gotten the actual magnitude as to why they lost.
Yeah.
You know, many of them who are lost, who I would describe now as political corpse, because that's what they are. There's no way possible that they would be able to return with these bad memories fresh in the voter's mind or the electorate's mind. You know, it's disturbing. It's really disturbing. And I'll say this: had Mr. Ingram been leader of the FNM, many of them who are calling for this convention wouldn't even dream about calling for one right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sad, you know, that you find these weak men calling for something as if that politics or being a member of parliament is the only job that's available to them in the Bahamas. Their era seems to me to be over.
Mm-hmm.
And going forward, I would be very aggressive to make sure that democracy reigns and they respect the position of that Mr. Pintat holds at this time. But I'm very, very, very disturbed, especially at Desmond Bannister.
Yeah.
Very disturbed.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for that. I mean, you got a point. I think, and I don't know where any of these political parties get a feel for the temperature in the country, a true temperature being taken in the country. Because personally, I'm not convinced that the Bahamian people as a whole will stomach another Minnis administration. I'm not sure. I could be wrong. But when I listen to people on the street, I'm not sure that he could be successful at a election. I think, and this is probably true for both parties, that the people of those parties are so insular that the only thing they think matters in terms of opinion is the people in the party. If a bunch of people in the party say, yeah, we want Minnis back as leader, okay, well, that's gospel.
Right.
That's what the rest of the people want.
Right.
But you don't actually know what the rest of the people want. The people who are going to vote you.
Right. Go to them.
Yeah.
And take a poll.
But
right.
It is also possible that they don't care about a win. Maybe they just care about a seat.
Well, that's possible. That's very possible. And to that caller's point about, people coming out and calling if, another leader was in, that they wouldn't do that, right?
Right.
It also speaks to leadership.
Right.
Because what makes it okay during one person's leadership
right.
for you to know that you couldn't come out publicly and say, well, we need this convention.
Yeah.
And what makes it okay with another leader to now come out? What does that say?
Yeah.
Right? So those are all things that need to be considered as well, right? Because if you couldn't do it under one leader, where now do you get the gumption to do it under another?
Right.
And for me, that speaks to leadership ability, right?
Yeah.
And again, buy in, right? Because if your own people aren't buying into you, that's a huge problem.
It is true.
Yeah.
Let's take this other call quickly before we have to go to a break. Good morning, caller. Welcome to Morning Blend.
Yes, good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
To continue on your co-host message, here's what have to be consideration, right? If you read the letter of Mr. Bannister, it holds very little substance, and it somehow seems to only reference the very things that a very small group within the political party has carefully been orchestrating. The question one have to ask is the last election for the FNM was in January of 2020. 2023. 2022. No, 2023, sorry. Okay? So you have to ask yourself, under the previous administration, first Bannister started, I think it was 4 or 5 years before a convention was even held under the FNM. But when you look at the subject, you have to ask yourself, if you look at the substance of the matter, it seems as if Mr. Bannister speaks as if though the FNM determines the leadership of the country. And if you look at the subset within the FNM that's making a decision, the very small set, it isn't like you have this massive crowd around the whole country. In fact, the country is absolutely silent, in shock and awe from the abuse and contempt that the previous leader of the country showed for the Bahamian people. They're still recovering from his 4 years and 4 months of governance. But if you ask yourself substantively what has been happening to try to, what has the leader of opposition done? Where is these individuals who govern us for 4 years and 4 months in regards to the issues that we are facing or in support of the structure of the leadership of the Free National Movement? There has been no real substantive support, I see, for a leader that tried to change the narrative of one being an inclusive type environment, not just of FNMs, but of the entire Bahamas. And the question you'd have to ask amongst the people, if you go in the street, just as you say, Chester, what the delusional is hearing is totally different than us in the streets are hearing. They're looking forward, not backwards, as to what is going to happen. And they're listening for the next step of development. Even for the problem is that even for people like me that use analytics, we can't even make a point of as to where we are today to plan the future because the government has not been forthcoming in anything. If those same individuals who are now supposed to be calling for a convention was observing the way we're being governed, they too should have been joining in and demanding for accountability, transparency, anti-corruption, integrity, and things. But then you'd have to pause and realize those same individuals did not represent those things that is being called for by the Bahamian people in the last administration. And so it would be duplicitous of them. And I think the leadership of the current FNM should focus on what the people needs are, because it's us who will decide who will become the prime minister of this country. In fact, Mr. Minnis can take credit in his being elected because it was the people who made a decision to put him there in spite of a noise greater than what is happening right now against his leadership. Yes, we regretted it afterwards, but for all things being equal, Mr. Minnis' era, E-R-R-O-R, is over. And what we have to do now is we have to begin to look for the type of leadership Mr. Pintard seems to represent, and that is one of inclusivity that is focused on the future. And so what we have to do is look substantively, how has he been performing in his duty as leader of Her Majesty's opposition? No one can doubt that the issues that is the Bahamian people want answers to has been asked. No one can doubt the agitation for what the Bahamian people demanded in putting in this administration to relieve themselves of Mr. Hubert Alexander Minnis is being demanded. And such would be his standard for being judged. And so, but if we put clear thought, deliberate action towards what is happening, we can see an orchestration of things happening within the party that should not, within the FNM party, that should not be happening. It should be one of collective, cohesive building. But you see some people who you have a leadership already demonstrated by the very voices that speaks for him, without any denial that these don't represent my voice. One where a person claims to be of attack but says violence is necessary as long as they're a troublemaker, just don't attack me. And orchestrated seems to be one where instantaneously an attack occurs on a person, and within 60 seconds they come in and accuse a leadership of being the one who orchestrated it and paid for it without even time to digest the attack that happened to you. An attack where you say you're talking to people, your back was to the person, but maybe a dozen people you're talking to didn't see the person moving towards you. It seems to me as if though you have an orchestrated diminishing of the leadership from within the party. And I'll use a statement. It's the enemies within, not those without, that is destroying this party.
Right.
And I think Mr. Pintas should just take a stronger position and build forward and begin to exclude them and make a wider, inclusive over here for the Tempton Zoo, just go deeper, harder, and focus on the future.
Thanks, Jan.
Thank you.
We're going to go to our 8 o'clock news break, and Morning Blend will continue on the other side. And now at 8:20, it's time for your final look at this morning's weather, brought to you by Easy Car Sales. Tired of the same old gasoline routine? Step into the future today and test drive an electric vehicle from Easy Car Sales. You will love the electrifying change. Visit easy242.com and dump the pump. And your outlook for today and the next 2 days: the general situation, surface to low-level troughing across the southeast Bahamas, will drift northwestwards while weakening today, while a cold front enters the northwest Bahamas today with little fanfare. Beachgoers should remain vigilant due to the threat of rip currents along east coast beaches and along Atlantic exposures. Boaters and motorists should remain vigilant, as some early morning patchy fog is possible and could affect visibility. For all areas, weather variably cloudy across the northwest Bahamas with a chance of a few isolated showers, mainly along the front. Partly sunny and warm across the remainder of the Bahamas with the chance of an isolated shower or two. Winds northwest to north at 10 knots or less across the northwest and central Bahamas, and east to southeast at 10 knots or less across the southeast Bahamas. Seas 2 to 3 feet over the ocean, building up to 5 feet along Atlantic exposures. Your high temperature today, 85 degrees Fahrenheit. 29 degrees Celsius. Your low temperature tonight, 71 degrees Fahrenheit, 21 degrees Celsius. In your extended outlook for the next 2 days, the front across the Bahamas will stall as a second stronger cold front enters the islands Wednesday and pushes southeastwards. Strong high pressure will build across the area in the wake of the front, ushering in a cooler air mass and breezy conditions, making for hazardous boating and beaching through Thursday. Your outlook for Wednesday, variably cloudy and turning breezy across the northwest and central Bahamas, with the chance of a few isolated showers. Partly sunny and warm across the southeast Bahamas with an isolated shower or two possible. Small craft caution will be in effect for the northwest and central Bahamas. Your forecast for Thursday, variably cloudy and breezy to windy, with a few quick passing showers. A small craft advisory will be in effect due to building seas and swells. Winds northwest to north at 15 to 20 knots in the northwest and central Bahamas, and east to southeast at 10 to 15 knots in the southeast Bahamas. Winds north to northeast at 15 to 20 knots and gusting at times. Seas 4 to 6 feet near shore, building up to 7 to 9 feet offshore in the northwest and central Bahamas, and 4 to 7 feet in the southeast Bahamas. Seas 4 to 7 feet near shore, building up to 10 feet offshore. That's your weather outlook. Take an electric vehicle for a spin. Experience the incredible performance firsthand. There is an EV waiting for you at Easy Car Sales to suit your budget and your lifestyle. Book a test drive today at easy242.com. And it's time for another look at your traffic. This segment of Morning Blend brought to you by RBC. Get a no-fee RBC loan plus 5 chances to win up to $5,000. Your traffic hot spots, just where you expect them to be. Sir Milo Butler Highway. If you're stuck there, you are good and stuck. It is, traffic is 1/3 of the way backed up past Fire Trail Road. The traffic on Fire Trail Road looking about the same as the last hour. Traffic on Gladstone Road, it's moving. Looking pretty good as you get to the roundabout at JFK, and JFK is flowing a little bit. There is some congestion as you get to the roundabout at Prospect Ridge Road. In both directions, actually. And the traffic is built up at the six-legged roundabout in all directions except University Drive as you head into the roundabout. Traffic at Saunders Beach past Go Slow Bend. If you are thinking about going that way, maybe change your mind. Traffic on the Eastern Road backed up past St. Susie now. All the way to Fox Hill Road as you head westbound. As you pass Fox Hill Road, it loosens a little, but tightens back up just before Dix Point. It looks like traffic on Village Road and Shirley Street there at the intersection to Shirley Street. Let's look at Blue Hill Road for you. Traffic is a bit tight as you go up the hill there. Blue Hill Road headed toward the roundabout at Independence Drive. And traffic on Carmichael Road at the intersection of Blue Hill Road backed way up. So you want to avoid that area as usual. Those are your hot spots this morning. That's your look at traffic. This segment of Morning Blend has been brought to you by RBC. Learn more at rbc.com/Caribbean/Christmas cash.
It's a Christmas wish for all of you. Get a no-fee loan from RBC. It's true.
This Christmas, your wish could come true with a no-fee loan from RBC. You have 5 chances to win up to $5,000 Christmas cash.
It's a Christmas wish for all of you. Get a no-fee loan from RBC. It's true.
Learn more at rbc.com/Caribbean/Christmas cash. Subject to normal lending criteria. Conditions apply.
There's a new electric vehicle in town. The Jack brand of SUVs, trucks, sedans, and commercial vans. Available only at Easy Car Sales, home of the fully electric vehicle. For a powerful, smooth ride at a fraction of the cost to drive, leave the pump behind and hit the road with Jack. Visit easy242.com to see our brand new Jack models and drop into Easy Car Sales for a test drive. It'll have you singing. Hit the road with Jack, and don't you pump gas no more.
Doctors Hospital has reimagined primary care. We have invested to improve our health system, ensuring that accessible, affordable, world-class clinical care is closer to you. We understand that your relationship with a primary care provider shapes the foundation of your overall health. Our new modern primary care facilities are where critical diagnoses and true personalized treatment begins. With locations across New Providence, Grand Bahama, and Exuma, we invite you to experience the Doctors Hospital difference. Book your next appointment at clinics.doctorshosp.com.
The National Insurance Board encourages all employers and self-employed persons to stay ahead of the 2024 rush by scheduling a meeting with your inspector today. A one-on-one appointment with your inspector ensures that your account is up to date and compliant, making it a hassle-free process when applying for your tax compliance certificates and business license renewals with the Department of Inland Revenue. Stay ahead, avoid delays. Keep your business thriving. Contact your inspector now. Your success is our priority.
Hello?
Hey girl, what you saying? I just was calling to check up on you.
Hey girl, everything fine, but I just can't talk right now. I gotta go to the clinic.
The clinic? Everything okay with you?
Yeah, girl, everything fine with me. I just trying to get this little one ready because he has an appointment for his childhood vaccination.
Well, Logan's 6 years old. I haven't taken him for his last vaccine appointment since before the pandemic.
Did you know that the childhood vaccinations could protect these little ones from preventable diseases like polio, rubella, measles, and mumps? So these vaccinations for the little ones is the best we could do for them.
I'm gonna make that appointment for him because I need him to get up to date with all of his vaccines. Let me let you go, but call me back when you come back home.
Mommy, I need to go get my vaccines.
This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health and Wellness, PAHO WHO, and the Canadian government.
Child, Fidelity can on this year with their new festive giveaway. You could win cash, an iPhone 15, get a bill paid off, PS5, all kind of things. Apply for a loan or an ASUS savings account, and you could win. Try out, call them now. Here, 356-7764.
Good morning and welcome back to Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. I'm Chester Robards along with DeQuesta Dean, and we are switching gears for the moment, and we're talking about Bark, their spay and neuter program, as well as their Potcake Golf Tournament. And we have with us Chairman of Bark, Laura Kimball. Always a pleasure to
Thank you. Thank you. Happy to be here, guys. Thank you.
Yeah. So let's get into and start the conversation off with what's going on with Bark. How's the spay and neuter programs been going? What has it been like this year in 2023?
Very busy. Yeah. So we were talking about our mobile clinic arriving in 2022. Yeah. So we're year 2 with the mobile clinic. It has been a huge success. We have an amazing team out there. We have a full-time vet. So it's about 5 staff members we have on the mobile clinic. And it's really taken Bark to the next level because we're in the communities every single day. We still work with the local vets, and people can still bring their pets in, whether it's a local vet or to the mobile clinic. We have a full-time community outreach coordinator out there, going in, talking to people in the community, and that's the biggest thing, is educating people on how to care for their pets, educating about the benefits of spay and neuter, and just how it's the only way that we can really, get, it's a very manageable problem, right? Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things in this life that are outside of our control, but this is something like animal suffering out there, and, where we really believe in the education, the connection of, kindness towards animals then translates to kindness towards each other, and we know we need that in this world.
Surely do. It's true, right? So in terms of education, are people getting it? Are people understanding that this is...
I would definitely say so. I mean, we work very closely with the Bahamas Humane Society. Right. They have so many animals. I mean, I think this is a good thing because people are knowing, they're calling, they're doing better with taking care of animals. Unfortunately, the big issue is that there are just too many of them right now. Yeah. So the only way to humanely, assist that problem is spay and neuter. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna probably hit around 4,000 spay and neuters for 2023, which is great. And we have a big project that Bark is part of called Operation Potcake. I think Kim's coming in to talk to you guys soon about that. So that's a huge initiative in January that we're part of to really, make a big impact. And then we will keep continuing our work. So, this Sunday's golf tournament is very important for funding our operations. Our budget, since it's close to $700,000 a year. So it is a lot of money. We do graciously get $75,000 from the Ministry of Agriculture, which we're super grateful for, but we have to find the balance. So hopefully our golf tournament will raise between 90 and 100,000, we're hoping. And we really believe in the work and, getting out there. And, we're really, really hopeful that eventually we can see a difference. I know Bimini, there's like a lot of success there. They've had a spay neuter program there for years. It's very contained. And so we just hope to, get that in all of the islands between New Providence. And of course, Bark goes to the other islands as well. We have been focusing more on New Providence recently. It's a lot of work for us to get to the family islands, but we do work with some people in Freeport, Eleuthera, Exuma. So we're out there.
I can't imagine. And I've only been to Bimini recently for the first time. And I can't imagine that there was ever a stray anything problem.
Right? Yeah. So that just shows that it can really be maintained. So we're just working towards that. I mean, it's so manageable, guys. Like, we're a small country. We have a smaller population. It's very manageable. So we can do it, and please support.
So it's going into the holiday season, and people may be considering purchasing pets for family members and kids, or that sort of stuff, because it looks cute to ride around with one. What advice or some of your expertise can you give to help people with making that decision about whether they should purchase a pet or not, and not just because it looks cute hanging out the car window?
Well, first of all, the word purchasing makes me have heart palpitations because we are very against breeding and buying animals because there are so many that need homes. So we really encourage adopting, first of all, and first of all, potcakes are the best dogs ever. They're very resilient. They're very intelligent. But at the same time, if you do want, some other type of dog or a cat, there's so many different kinds. I mean, that we get into the Humane Society or, everything, right? But we really advise a dog or a cat is not for Christmas, or a bunny rabbit or whatever. Like, a pet is not for Christmas. It is a big commitment, average 14 to 15 years, for most dogs, depending. The bigger dogs are a little less, but, so this is and it's a lot of work. It's like having a child, and people don't realize it. It's not fair to get a dog to throw it out in the backyard. Dogs need a lot of work. They need exercise. They need, companionship. They need training, and it's expensive as well, So that's a big thing with our spay and neuter program is a lot of people out there are very happy to have a couple of dogs, and then when the dogs start having puppies or the cats start having kittens, it's very expensive to feed 7-8 dogs, but they can manage too. So we're out there, we're educating people on that, and but definitely advise get a. I'm pretty sure there's like robot cats and dogs. There's everything AI these days.
Yes.
Make sure because kids. Even I would say as young as or as old as 13, I don't even think kids like that have that same, the same sort of commitment. So definitely, so many parents I talk to think it's a great idea to teach their kid responsibility. Is really not.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
You mentioned 4,000 this year?
4,000 this year. Yeah, we've
neuter?
done, since we've been in existence, I think we're over 30,000 now. I need to check our figures, but it's been a lot. I mean, and we are so proud of how many animals that is prevented the suffering for. And, it's really important. We're out there in the community, we spay a dog, and a lot of people have community dogs, and they're well, they take care of a dog, they feed it, whatever. Right. And to prevent that female from having more puppies is her health. And, it's really positive what we see out there. And I do feel that people really do care for the most part.
Yeah. Yes. And So, are these mostly dogs and cats that you capture and do this work for, or people bringing?
It's a
these
mix.
animals?
It's a solid mix.
Yeah,
I mean, rare, like we wouldn't, like most of these dogs are community dogs that are even like quote unquote stray dogs. You know, they have a house that they go to, and then you know, we stop by. Oh yeah, we have a dog, but he's not home right now. So you know, I mean, people have animals that they really love and take care of, but they, you know, for whatever reason, they don't have the means to have a fenced-in yard. If we can spay and neuter, it definitely helps the quality. It helps the community. You know, less, you know, noise in the night, all that sort of stuff. And it's also really heartbreaking for people to see the litters of puppies suffering. They get run over, they get sick, all of those things. So it's just overall, you know, even if you're not a dog or cat lover, we believe that this program helps the community overall. So,
definitely agree.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So do you have like a schedule of where your mobile unit goes, or if somebody wants to spray and neuter their dog?
Oh, yeah.
Where should they come?
Yeah, we're kind of winding down for the year right now. We have been located at the Old Punch on Apex and Farrington Road there, or Joe Farrington. That, you know, right off the road from here. So we've been there a while, and then we will. Operation Potcake is in January. So we post our schedule on our website. I know we send it to you guys. Dwight sends it out on, you know, so we send it out on social media. Definitely, if you have dogs and cats that need to be spayed and neutered, if you know of communities of cats, like, because that's a big thing is the feral cats, and, you know, somebody feeds them and then they reproduce. But we can come and we're not going to remove them. We'll just spay and neuter them so they're not reproducing. So the colony, we really don't believe in moving them because it's really important. Anyway, so you can get into this whole scientific thing called the vacuum effect. Like culling doesn't work. So it's better to just maintain the populations. And so like on Paradise Island, we work with Atlantis. They spay and neuter the cats over on Paradise Island on a regular basis just to maintain. So yeah, I mean, it's a great program.
Yeah, excellent. So you got a golf tournament coming up. So give us the lowdown on the golf tournament. If you were seeing if you had space left.
We have space for like one team. So
that's a good problem.
Yeah, it is a good problem. But one, if you're interested in next year, if you're interested in sponsoring next year, we will have another one next year. So this is our third. We are actually at Royal Blue this year. So new venue for everybody. And we're really grateful to Alive because they are our title sponsor for the third year in a row. So they came on in the beginning, and you know they're a great support. We have a great lunch sponsor, ICC, and then we have some amazing. We have about 40 sponsors in total.
Great.
Yeah, amazing prizes. We're really excited. The golfers love it, and we actually are going to be doing this really cool thing that anyone can enter. So if you want to come out on Sunday. Between 9 and probably 2-ish, and you have change that you want to donate, we're having this machine called We Change Up. It's a company here that you can actually dump your change into. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. No. So, and yeah, you can dump your change into it, and then you basically get the money credited to your account. So you don't have to roll coins anymore.
Wow. That sounds good.
Yeah, it's really cool. So in order to promote a little bit, they're going to have a machine. And anybody who donates change to Bark, because people do, the person who donates the most change will win a round trip ticket to New York on JetBlue.
Wow.
So that's kind of fun.
Nice.
And anyone can come out and buy raffle tickets because we will have a mini raffle and we have 15 great prizes for that. So if you want to come out and support and just spectate a little bit on Sunday, you can. And if you want to get involved with Bark, please check our website. It's baarkbahamas.com, or we're on Instagram and Facebook. So you can always reach out to us there.
Yeah.
When you say involved, what specifically do you mean?
I mean, there's a long list of things. We have probably 30 volunteers coming for the golf tournament alone. So, and we have, some volunteers are like I'm not coming to clean cages and, all that stuff. Or they just, don't want to see it's sometimes hard, right? So they don't want to be necessarily hands-on with the animals, but you can help with events, or you can be hands-on with the animals. We need help at the mobile clinic all the time. Again, it's definitely a strong, you got to have a strong heart. And it's tough work, definitely physically, but there's stuff for everybody. And we need help with, fundraising, whatever it is, we could use volunteers. And then, I should plug actually something really nice the Humane Society is doing is the dog walk. So people love volunteering. They do that on Wednesdays and Saturdays. So that's a great way to get
fun.
That's a really manageable thing for people to do. It's not a huge time commitment. It's fun, good exercise.
I've done it once.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm not really like an animal person, but I could support in other ways for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
So for someone like me who, doesn't really want to get involved in that sort of stuff, but maybe I want to help monetarily, like how can someone who's not interested in any of that but wants to contribute to helping the dog stop barking at night, how can they donate outside of like those initiatives that you just shared?
So like donate financially if somebody wants to. We have. We have on our website. We have a donate button. There's several ways you can donate directly to our bank account. We have PayPal. We have all kinds of ways to donate on there. And actually, another thing, our education program. If somebody wants to help in the schools, we are actually getting that ramped back up after COVID. So if you're interested in, helping at all, we are looking for people who want to come into the schools, learn our little program. And so that's a big thing too.
This person, some text messages coming.
Yeah.
This person says, it's worse than having a child. So a dog is helpless. They said they had a crying puppy up all night that wouldn't stop once. And this person asked a question: why can't BARC get the government to enforce its animal cruelty laws and build an animal sanctuary, and all of this hustling and begging for money won't be needed? Well, that might not be true. But
needed to run it.
This spay and neuter is the only way we can sort of, like we talk about the curve, of the population is like if we can get ahead of the curve. I agree with the it would be nice to have a sanctuary. Right now is just so many. But thank you. That would be amazing. We would love more government funding, but we know it has to stretch so many different directions. So if everybody can support, and honestly, everybody in the community can do their part by spaying and neutering their pet. Like people think, I just want my dog to have one litter of puppies. And it's like, please, no. Like, if we can get ahead of this problem, like, maybe, in a few years down the road. But Lord, we definitely don't have a shortage. And you see it all across America. It's just the whole world, right? So spay and neuter is the key.
Yeah. I think the Humane Society has gotten a plot of land for a larger
shelter,
shelter. Which could be good, but
but but the thing, I don't know. I'm yes, it would be great. But at the end of the day, it's still going to fill up really fast if we don't all spay and neuter. So I'm just preaching the spay and neuter and educate message.
Well, that brings a question to mind because you've spoken about community dogs, right? This dog that maybe various houses in a community would feed if they come into the yard. Who then makes a decision that dog can get spayed or neutered? Who calls? Like, if it's no real ownership, then how does that work?
Yes. So, you actually did mention a little bit about the Animal Protection and Control Act. I guess technically a dog should be fenced in. It is written in there that, you're supposed to have your dog fenced in. We don't really have proof of ownership. Normally you can tell, so when people come, they have to sign to say, I give you permission to spay and neuter my dog. I'm the owner. Like, a dog usually knows a person. So obviously we don't, if they're comfortable with them, we assume that they are telling us the truth.
Right.
We have had some debates in the past, but, we can't really do too much because there isn't, unless they have a license, because you are supposed to license your dogs.
Right.
And to be fair about the Animal Protection Act, my Lissa, my coworker, chairman with BARC. She is working very hard with the government to try to enforce things, but it's very difficult. Things are slow, to enforce, and it's hard, but they are really working on that with the Ministry of Agriculture.
Yeah, and just before we have to go, the curve, how is the curve looking or looked since BARC came into existence?
I mean, I think we're sort of maintaining, we have done 3 population studies, actually. We did one in 2021 that was very extensive. We did 2 driving surveys, 2012, 2015. Then we did an extensive household survey that was insane, and hundreds of hours of work. Wow. And we basically came to the conclusion with the statistics, and all of this is on our website. We have a little blog post in the news section. That we're still around 17,000. And the first study, we were 20,000. The second, we were at 15. But that was after the outbreak of distemper in 2014. And then we did the survey, and we assume there's about 17,000 sort of roaming. Right. But we also, there's probably 89 to 90,000 dogs in New Providence. Because we also surveyed homes of private. A lot of people have a lot of dogs. Yeah. So when we were walking, anyways, it was pretty interesting, the data. But we really need to encourage people with own dogs to spay and neuter, and everyone to do their part.
That number's gonna haunt me.
Okay. Because did you see my mouth drop?
Yeah.
Wow.
But I mean, so it'll be really interesting. We'll do Operation Puckache in January. I do need to figure out, we will do a driving survey because it was so close, and that was a lot less hours than a household survey. But we will do another one again.
I'm sure you could use volunteers for that.
Yeah. So it's very interesting, but one day at a time, one tale at a time.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell us one more time about the golf tournament. How can people get involved if you have space left?
Yes, we do. We have one. Talking. Yeah, no, we probably have one person sign up. But we usually do have a waiting list. But please come out Sunday, December 10th, Bahamar. Check out our website, barkbahamas.com, and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And we will, and also follow Operation Puckache on Instagram too, so if you're interested.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you guys so much.
Kimball, always a pleasure talking to you. Thank you for the information. Yes. And have a great tournament this weekend.
Thank you.
We'll be back.
What would you do with extra cash? Plan a trip.
Overhaul my wardrobe.
With CIBC First Caribbean, you can get comfy with savings on your mortgage cost. Buy or build your home or switch your mortgage to us and get up to US $1,000 off the loan application fee. Up to US $2,000 off home insurance. With up to US $10,000 towards switching costs, your pockets will be comfy too. Visit CIBCFCIB.com/get comfy for more information. Conditions apply.
Deck the halls with paint from Kelly's House and Home. Shop early for all your paint supplies during the holiday fix-up sale now through December 24th. Save 25% on house and spray paint and 20% on paint supplies, except on net items. Our selection of paint colors is a delightful way to spread holiday cheer throughout your home. From December 1st through 24th, we're open Mondays through Saturdays from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. and on Sundays from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Shop Kelly's Holiday Paint Sale going on now. Happy holidays from Kelly's House and Home.
You've tried everything. ASUS with your mother's cousin's sister's auntie, and even hiding your money under your mattress. But is your money safe? Your Bahamian dollar deposit in a member bank or credit union is insured up to $50,000. If anything happens, your deposit up to the insured value will be returned to you thanks to Deposit Insurance. Visit Deposit Insurance Corporation at www.dic.bs.
Protection for your money
Guaranteed with DIC.
Cashmas is here at Percy's Island Game. 78 winners, $250,000 in cash and prizes, and a grand prize of $50,000 in cash. And there's more! 7-day Caribbean and Alaska cruises, 7-day trips to New York, Las Vegas, and London, TVs, iPads, cell phones, and 3 brand new 2023 Toyotas. Enter to win each time you deposit $20 on your verified account at the only place with the cash, the cruises, the toys, the trips, and the cars this Cashmas, and that's Percy's Island Game.
Power on the holidays this Christmas with Custom Computers. We have everything that everyone wants to see under the tree. Laptops, iPads, AirPods, Apple Watches, Bluetooth speakers, and more. Find gifts for every reason this Christmas season at Custom Computers. Visit us on Patton Street in Palmdale, opposite Liquid Courage, or in Caves Village through the Blake Road entrance. The best Christmas has to offer is right here at your one-stop shop. Custom Computers.
Enjoy the magic of Christmas at Nassau Cruise Port all December long. Visit Santa and his helpers at Santa's workshop for holiday photos. Enjoy Christmas caroling, wreath decorating, mixology classes, and movie marathons. And of course, come for the great concerts and holiday shopping. Nassau Cruise Port is your ultimate destination for Christmas fun. Visit NassauCruisePort.com and follow us on Facebook and Instagram for details. Nassau Cruise Port, the place to be.
Good morning and welcome back to Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. That was a great conversation about Bach and even more interesting conversation
after. Yes. That was a lot of information.
Yeah.
Very educational. It's exciting for the school tours and getting kids that information as well, you know. And it is a huge responsibility to have a pet.
Oh, yeah. I want to try to get some of these text messages out before we go to Morning Blend business, and there were a lot of them. So before we went into our segment with Bach, we were talking about the F&M convention, the shark attack, and also the 8 million visitor record.
Right.
This person saying the F&M has never been an easy bunch to hold hands and sing Kumbaya. The PLP is doing a terrible job and needs to be voted out, especially Ginger Moxie. We hungry in Grand Bahama. She gets to go, or gots to go, I guess. I mean, now go run, tell Jess to Cooper that.
Oh, gee.
Okay. All right. That's how you feel. This person says, good morning. I agree with the text who says the government is finding money for trivialities but not paying contracts. Apart from the big company contracts, there are a lot of small individual persons who are working on 2-year contracts in various government ministries, doing the same work, sometimes more than, as permanent workers for basic salaries and no benefits. Some have been waiting in limbo for months and years for gratuity payments.
Wow.
These payments make up for the lack of benefits. Now Christmas is approaching with no bonus, nothing extra in the face of dedicated work. They are now approaching a new year and can only expect the same dismal salaries that are not enough to comfortably live on. Yet said monies were allotted from previous budgets. It's just wrong. So a lot is going on there, apparently.
That's just sad.
It is. It's terrible. With payments for people on contracts and stuff, it's tough. Morning Chester and gas people will not speak out against this government because they are afraid to lose their jobs. The F&M have one leader, and that's Michael Pintard, so F&Ms need to support their leader until election is called. That is the leader, okay? Or convention, but you know, that's up to them. This person says, good morning, Junkanoo and Rawson Square is now designated for the elite who are not really interested and will go home early. In the long run, this will tarnish Junkanoo. I don't know how we get on Junkanoo, but so Rawson Square is for the big wigs is just what you're saying. Okay.
Really?
I guess. I don't know.
I don't think sell tickets for
Wasn't it? Yeah, they
Rawson
do.
Square?
You could buy tickets for Rawson Square. I don't know what they mean. I guess they're a little more expensive. But
yeah, they
you get
are. But if they go home, then some people could just have some free seats.
I guess so.
I don't know how it works.
Person says the online radio is still down. You have to download the Guardian Radio app.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Good morning, sir. I see nothing wrong with what Desmond Bannister wrote. He said FNM needs to hold a convention to solidify whoever the people voted for to take the party to the next election. It's up to the party.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Here's my take on the FNM. I'm not a prophet or a palm reader, but I guarantee you this, the FNM will never win with divisive Pintard. Okay. Okay. T reader, not
divisive?
T reader. They say he's divisive.
Oh, okay.
The PLP filled with leadership. The next leader for the PLP is Chester. Oh, I read that. The last caller needed to offer themselves for leadership with the FNM. I think that caller they're talking about was C. Allen.
Okay.
Please read my text.
Oh.
Okay. Entire text.
Entire.
Morning to the sweet, cute voice Dequessa.
Oh, gee.
And my beloved electric car Chester. Okay. Concerning stopover tourism numbers, tourism needs to work hard on increasing those figures from 2 million to 7 or 8 million, or at least 4 to 6 million. I am tired of tourism sticking to targeting the same repetitive traditional markets. I want to see them expand and lure in more visitors from non-traditional markets of the USA. The wider global world at large. Now regarding the 8 million cruise visitors, it's probably 6 million cruise visitors. Do the cruise ships stop at the Nassau 4 or 6 days every week? Please clarify. Where can I get clear stats on this? Now on to the FNM drama. Let them make Dr. Minnis leader again, and they will secure a 2 straight victory for PM Davis and the PFP. Listen, we folks out on the street are still very bitter at Minnis. Some folks sadly wish Dr. Minnis was exiled from the Bahamas.
Wow.
That is...
that one is strong.
That is tough.
Exiled. Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. And the rest of these text messages were about our mics being open during the news.
Thank you guys for letting
Thanks,
us know.
appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
This person says, good morning. Please tell Beach and Park or the Saxons come clean up their practice ground. Tourists are asking why it's so dirty.
Oh, gee.
Beach and Park come clean the beach, Junkanoo, and Western Esplanade. Tourists are complaining. That's another thing we don't do a very good job at. Plus, people still littering. You know,
Right.
I feel like
Right.
that wasn't like that was a thing back in the day when people and littering campaigns had to come out and people were like, don't throw. We got some nasty people around.
Are you driving and just throwing
stuff
out
out
your
the
car?
window?
Like if you go to the beach and you have a picnic, like put your stuff in. Take garbage bags with you.
One day I could follow somebody. No, I'm not say that because then I can get arrested. Just want to throw dirt in their yard when they reach and be like, how does it feel?
Correct. We have to have a bit more pride. Yeah.
You can tell what grinds my gears, right? Hate to see it. This person says Chester Pintard is Tommy Turnquest 2.0 and Dwayne Sands is too arrogant, pompous, and bougie to win an election against the PLP if he became leader. Okay, you think so?
Yeah.
A couple more messages. Dr. Minnis was forced to hold a convention and beat back the insurgent campaign from Mrs. Turner. Turner still refused to accept the result. Doc is not an emotional man and will not try to unseat Mr. Pintard through parliamentary action. Okay. That's fair enough. I mean, we've seen where that went. The PLP, FNM. Okay, I'm not reading that. I think Pintard should invite those failed followers of Minnis to convince C. Allen for them to have a convention. I think Pintard should, and they sent that twice. Okay.
Yeah.
Those are the messages, and we are going to go to the news, and we'll be back with Morning Blend Business and switch up the gears. Thank you for those text messages. Callers, thank you. And we'll be back.
Yeah.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's the start of the end of the old way.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Views and opinions of the host and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning and welcome to Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. I'm Chester Robards, filling in for Dwight Strachan, who is on vacation and told me not to tell y'all that he's somewhere where he's probably not. And I'm along with Duquesa Dean, and we are talking about safety and security. And we have in studio with us, he's no stranger to the show, from Preventative Measures, Gamal Nouri. He's come in to talk to you about strategies and tactics for the holiday season. I like that word, tactics. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Chester. Good morning, Duquesa. Good to see you.
Yes.
An old giant is in the building. I shouldn't say old, but anyway, a nice, beautiful giant is in the room. Good to see you. How are you doing?
I'm well, man.
Good,
How are you?
I'm very well.
Good.
And good morning, Bahamas. It's good to be here.
They reminiscent on St. John's
Yeah,
Days.
yeah.
Excellent. So tell her, I'm sure we could spend 2 hours on talking about security. But I guess this is a time of the year when people really, really start thinking, they got gifts in their house. They're going out shopping, carrying some money and stuff. Maybe not carrying money. They're using, maybe they're using some Sand Dollar, which reminds me, Sand Dollar holiday rebates is here. Get up to $100 back this holiday season when you spend Sand Dollars, the digital Bahamian dollar at selected merchants. If you're in Nassau, you can present your Sand Dollar-enabled digital wallet and receipts to Team Sand Dollar at the Sand Dollar rebate booth located inside Omni at the mall at Marathon. Each receipt must have a total of $50 or more. Additional rules and restrictions may apply. Visit sanddollar.bs/merchant list for a list of merchants. And maybe we could start with
That's a very good place to start. You know, you have platforms like Sand Dollar, you have the Canoe payment systems, and a lot of the concern now, especially from a security perspective, is not so much physical, but cyber attacks that come via these different platforms or come via different payment systems or come via just clicking on a link that you're not supposed to click on. You know, you have scammers now who are in prime gear, are going to send you something about a rebate for Walmart or a rebate for some other major retailer in the United States or even locally. So you as a consumer needs to be very savvy about what are those risks, especially like I said in the cyber arena, because that's where the attack is. We're not carrying cash anymore. It's not a primary form of payment. So you have to be alert to that, credit card scams and these other types of hacks that may impact your spend this holiday season.
We shouldn't take for granted that people are hip to some of these things. What would you suggest that they look out for in terms of cyber scams? I know email is a popular place for things to come in.
Sure. Yeah. Well, first of all, if you didn't enter a contest, right?
That should be a no-brainer, right?
That should be a no-brainer, right? If you didn't enter a contest, it's very unlikely that you won the contest, but again, it's dealing with that emotional draw for individuals. People get caught up in the season. They get caught up in the excitement that I won. But did you enter? So sometimes we throw logic out of the window. So, but these are still out there because you'll have scammers, hackers are sitting down, and they're sending out hundreds and hundreds of thousands of emails, and they only need about 10 people. They don't need to get that return doesn't need to be 100,000. 10 people who put out $500. That's an easy windfall for the hacker. So that's what they're doing. They're putting things out there. They're also putting out what we call phishing emails. So they are, or social engineering. They're putting out things to get information. Have you applied for your new Walmart credit card, or have you applied for a credit card, or these types of things? Are you interested in this particular function? We were talking earlier about wine. They may if you've been social engineered, meaning you've highlighted on your Facebook page that you are a wine connoisseur or a cigar connoisseur or you like apple pie, whatever that is, right? And they go and they search that and they say, okay, hey, let's send something as it relates to what that person likes, what they want to do, what their interests are, and give them some type of reward or promise them a reward.
Right.
And if you've been engineered, you've been fished, and then they send something that attracts you, because it may not attract me for a particular brand or a particular product, but I may like wine.
Right.
And so certainly that's something that they may target if as they monitor, because that's what they're doing. That's all they have to do.
Monitor.
Monitor.
So I guess we should look at the scammer as, and then maybe we do, maybe we don't, I don't know. But this is really their full-time job. They sit down and it's their job to get to know what will be a trigger for you. And oh, wow. So that's like a 8-9 hour job all day, every day. Like you
24/7 shifts.
Wow.
Because, they're passing that on. They're passing those details on to the next shift.
Wow.
And they're passing it on to the next shift. It's a business.
Right.
It's a business.
Right.
And like I said, they are doing this all around the world. They may, what you have in certain regions, they've even sort of narrowed down to certain regions. What do Caribbean persons like? Or what do Caribbean persons who are of Indian descent or Chinese descent or persons of Jamaican descent, or that's how they narrow it down, because there may be a preference for persons of Jamaican descent that Bahamians do not like. So how do we channel that attack to that group of individuals versus Bahamians? And so this is how they make their money. It's a business, it's an industry.
They've made it a science.
Oh, definitely.
Well, is it changing now from the African emails, beloved, I've left, someone died and left me $500 million and I need to share it with somebody, and you're the person. Is it changed from that now?
You see the change. You would have seen, for example, in Dorian, you'd have seen the email change, the content of the emails change. You'd have seen even most recently, for those persons who are following, let's say, for example, the conflict now between Israel and Hamas. So are you pro this group or that group? They need a donation. Are you prepared to give this? Do you stand with us in this particular incident? Or as simple as the holiday season, donate to the Red Cross. And again, we have to be careful. I don't want to deter funding that may go to those agencies, right? But they're dealing with our emotions again. So we have to be careful and look for simple things like, you hover over the email to see where it's coming from. Is it coming from a legitimate address? Pick up the phone and make a call. Hey, I got an email from your business saying that this is the case. What are you going to do?
Even Facebook's profiles, like people add me. I haven't added a new person on Facebook for a very long time. For one reason, that I'm afraid that it's just some,
yes.
So I can't call everybody and be like, yo, you trying to add me? No, just don't add anybody. But it's probably bad. But there are a lot of fake profiles.
Exactly. And with the intervention or with AI, you have what is called deep fakes, right? So they're not just mimicking, getting a photograph of you. They now can mimic your voice, and they can make that phone call on a platform, and it'll sound exactly like the individual. Hey, I'm stuck in the city. Could you send me $1,000? Back in the day because you asked about how the methodology has changed. Before there'd just be an email or a text, right? But now you can actually have a voice that comes on that is very authentic or sounds very authentic, and to the point where they would say, hey, call this number. This is the police station where I'm at. And you call that number, and it's somebody's answering. This is a police station in this country. Yes, this person has been arrested. You need to send this amount of money. The courts are about to close. You need to send it quick. So again, it's dealing with the emotions. So you slow it down. Slow it down. This is not just from a digital perspective. It's also even with physical. If you think things are moving too fast, slow it down. Stop. Slow it down, assess, reassess, just to confirm and validate that what is being presented to you is actually something authentic, something real, as opposed to, hey, I need to get this, I need to make this deal, I need to make this purchase. And when you find out later on that it's fraud, you've lost money, whether you've lost money directly via cash or you've lost money because you bought a product that's faulty or that's not working. Watch it for these deals. You have to be careful of these deals during the season where persons are saying, hey, this is a holiday season, we have a big sale going on, and online, if you buy one, get one free type of thing, and you put that money out there and they don't deliver on the product. You know?
Yeah, wow.
I see there's some loan agencies, or I wouldn't even call them agencies, but it's like I saw something just offering loans.
Yes.
Anything there? Anything amiss there? Just if you're not a bank or a credible lender, there are a lot of lenders, but is there something amiss there? Some people should be aware of.
Yes. So again, slow it down and do your due diligence on the agency or the person or group that's prepared to be this lender. Because there are a lot of lending agencies that are not necessarily bank front-facing.
Right.
But I think all of them, from what I could recall, end up at a bank in any event, right? They're just helping to fast-track that particular process. So you have to, again, slow it down, do your due diligence. Who else has gotten money from these individuals? How long have they been in business? Did they just set up last week versus have they been in business for a while? Are they reputable? Those types of things. Certainly stay away from things that are asking you to click and apply online. You need to deal with a physical individual, in my opinion, right? In this arena, who may direct you back to a trusted site, but don't let the initial contact start off with the click. Click here and start your application process, because you're going to start. You risk the possibility of giving away all of your personal identifiable information. You upload your passport, your driver's license, and all this other, and you don't know where that's going. And you haven't spoken to anybody yet, and you're waiting for that call, right? And then you find out that you were in some foreign country because they use your identification in that foreign country.
Wow.
So with asset protection and loss prevention, we're talking a lot about how we keep in mind all of the scams and all that sort of stuff. But going into Christmas, people get a little frenzied. They need to buy gifts. They need to floss, for lack of a better word. What advice do you give for people who really are not in a position for gift giving, so that they don't create issues for themselves as it relates to already not having assets and now going into a deficit? What would be some of the protective mechanisms you would, give to them to slow it down? But what would your advice be?
Well, certainly, if you're not in a position, I think that you definitely don't extend yourself in a way that you are now trying to recover from this. Because as we say in the Bahamas, January is like it's like 3 months.
Correct.
So be careful of overextending yourself. Create a budget. I would say create a budget. Itemize what it is. It may mean this year get cards. It may mean this year, just a phone call. You don't put yourself into a position that causes you to spend more than what you have. Certainly, don't put yourself in a position where you are trying now to find assets, and that's where you get targeted. That from a nefarious lender who says, "I can give you this because if you want to, your kid wants this." Don't get overwhelmed in the season and put yourself in a position where you lose in the long run.
Right.
There's text message coming in says, "Good morning. People should also be aware of games and questions on social media that fish security questions of passwords. Example, what year did you graduate, or the name of your favorite pet?"
Very, very, very true. We're in an age of we're doing a lot of surveys. A lot of information is transferred online, and I would be very cautious. And this goes beyond just the holiday season. It goes into just you get an email. What do you think about this? And what are they asking you?
Right.
Are they asking your opinion on something where you can click a yes or no, or are they asking you where do you live? Or what is your employment? What's your what is your age group? What is your financial? What is your salary like? Those types of personal questions are the beginning of that. Sort of, as we would say, a jump off into getting more details that you should not give out online. And that's why I said earlier, that initial or that contact with a lender or an agency should begin with an individual. It shouldn't begin with a click, where you start the process and you've already downloaded it or uploaded all of your personal identifiable information, and then you find out it's a scammer who's actually just taking you for a ride.
I guess this is a time of year too, again, where you want to be hyper vigilant. I don't want to get people in a position where they're just always looking over their shoulder. but sometimes you have to. I don't know. I've been followed once, so I'm always looking around. But what advice would you give people? They're not CIA agents, they're not spies, but to kind of protect themselves as they travel around. They might to think about, always kind of be aware of maybe they're being targeted, but not being crazy about it.
Right. I ask persons to do a risk assessment of themselves.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Where do you go? Who do you go with? So it's really a lifestyle type evaluation to determine what your risks are. And so with that said, if you work for an entity that has a lot of cash turnover, then you may want to double check and recheck. Right. If you work for an entity that provides access to certain information, again, you maybe want to double check, recheck. And it's going to vary based on, like I said, lifestyle. So where do you go? Who do you hang out with? What is your job? What is your profession? Does that put you at more risk than the average person? What is your gender? Are you being targeted because you're a male versus a female? Right. I use the scenario, 3 p.m. in the afternoon versus 3 a.m. in the morning. That's two different mindsets.
Right.
If I'm going out at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm a bit more relaxed.
Right.
I feel. But 3 o'clock in the morning, before I open the door, I'm looking outside. I'm checking to see if anything is moved. I'm checking for smells. Has the odor changed in the neighborhood in that arena? So these types of things. I don't think it's being hypersensitive or overreacting would be if you don't go outside at all.
Right.
But certainly you want to be aware of the situations that you're in. If you're going out, you don't want to go out alone. If you're going to be out late in the night, if you happen to be in that position, what is your strategy? Hey, call someone.
Right.
Hey, we're driving home. Maybe someone lives east, someone lives west. We get on the phone and we talk each other in to make sure that we make it home. Both persons make it home safely. So there are things you can do that I think is just being cautious and being sensible and being wise based on the current climate that we're in.
Yeah.
And it isn't just, and for me, I tell persons, don't just get caught up in the holiday. You have to, these things can happen at any point. But evaluate, assess. What am I doing? Did I just get a brand new car?
Right.
Yeah. And persons are looking and say, well, if you have a brand new car,
you should be broke, right?
Exactly. No. People are saying, well, they got a lot of money, right? But so do this assessment.
Right.
And it's an inherent risk in our society.
Yeah.
But I mean, deeper to his question though, what makes you a target? Like, he's saying when if you're being hypersensitive or whatever, but it's crazy season or silly season as we call it, you go out shopping. What makes you a target? What makes someone say, I'm going to try to rob you versus not rob that person over there?
The way you walk,
okay.
The way you talk, the way you present yourself, the way you walk to your car. If you're walking to your car and your head is straight and you don't look and you don't see anything, right? Then you're opening yourself.
Okay.
But if you're walking to your car and you're looking around, mind you don't see anything, but you give the impression that I'm seeing everything and I'm alert.
Yeah.
Because just like say a lion or a tiger in the jungle, right? They identify the weakest prey and they're cues that they're gonna look at that gazelle and how is this gazelle walking versus how is that gazelle walking?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Am I going to go for the strong, alert gazelle?
Right.
No. I'm going to go for that gazelle who's just
Distracted.
willy-nilly distracted.
Right.
And so you present yourself very strong, your walk. Being an old policeman, there's a saying that the police use, chest up, stomach in. So you look confident. You let that go out, and you'll be surprised where persons are now looking and saying, "Should I?" No, that person looks really, they look alert. They look like they're on point.
Yeah.
The keys are in their hand.
Right.
They're not looking in the middle of the parking lot, going through a handbag trying to find the key.
Right.
They're not walking with the receipt or change in their hand.
Just have common sense.
Yes, exactly.
And should you wear a whistle?
I don't know if you should. I don't necessarily think you need to wear a whistle. I think that, and again, those ideas you have to change with the times, right? I think you may not have an opportunity to blow your whistle.
Right.
You understand what I'm
Right.
saying? But again, it depends on where you are, the environment. There's persons hearing a whistle now may think it's junk new practice. I don't know, right? So I try to manage recommendations and solutions based on the individual and who they are.
Gotcha. I want to share this story because I know it might teach somebody something
Okay.
because
Right.
I always row the women in my life.
Mhm.
I drive down the road and I see everything. I
Right.
know what color car was next to me.
Yes,
I look in everybody's window, and sometimes I'll pass like somebody I know, and they holding on to the wheel, they looking straight. They never saw me.
Right.
And I'm like, I saw you on the road. They're like, oh yeah, well you saw me. I'm like, I saw you.
Right.
They never saw
right,
me.
right.
I was right next to them.
Right.
Anyway. But I was driving. I had reached by the office of the Prime Minister. There was a car behind me, and there was a car in front of me. The car in front of me was going very slow, but the car behind me didn't try to pass. And I was like, what's going on with that person?
Right.
Like, why would he be behind two slow cars
Right.
in the middle of the night? So I switched lanes, sped up. They switched lanes, sped up. I turned to the corner, turned to the corner. I turned to another corner that I wasn't going through.
Right.
Just to see.
Right.
It's like, this is an arbitrary corner I'm going to turn through. They turn through.
Oh, wow.
I was like, okay, this is a problem.
Right.
And so I tried some, not evasive, crazy maneuvers, but just sped up a little
Right.
bit. Just
And they
got
mirrored
away.
you.
And they mirrored me.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
I got through a corner. They were so far behind me, they couldn't see when I turned to the corner. And I stopped. And I watched them drive very slowly past the corner. And I was like, this is a problem.
Yeah.
That person has some
Yeah.
Has some other intentions.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so some of these are the things that I hope that, I'm sure that you tell people, like you said, in very specific situations, depending on what they're doing.
Yeah.
If you're somebody who gets home late at night, look around.
Right. Right.
Pay more
Right.
attention than
Right.
you would be paying.
Yeah.
And trust your gut. There's a
Yes.
book called Gift of Fear by Garvin de Bacchus, right?
Mhm.
And it talks about the natural instinctive abilities that humans possess, but because of our modern, I guess our progress, so to speak, we have sort of dampened those particular gut feelings.
Right.
You as a younger child or a younger kid, you may have brought someone home, and Grammy or mom say something about that boy. I don't like his spirit. And you say, man, mommy, what you talking about? You just meet the person, and certainly, later on in life, that individual who Grammy says she didn't like the spirit probably ends up in some predicament and say, I tell you about that boy. I told you about that person. We deny it because it isn't polite.
Right.
It isn't polite if somebody extends their hand to shake your hand. It isn't polite not to reach your hand and shake. But why are you doing it? What is the feeling that you're getting when that individual comes to you? You're standing on the corner and the person comes and asks you, what time is it? Why are they coming to you? So being aware of those little cues because you're being tested, you're being targeted, and it may be an innocent test, mind you, but it may also have some nefarious or detrimental indications. So like I said, whether you are a male, female, whether you are a banker, whether you are whatever your profession is, and whatever are you an employee or a business owner. Persons are testing. Persons are out to be tested, and not everyone has negative intentions.
Right.
But you have to now gauge it and trust your gut. Trust your gut. If you feel uncomfortable with a situation, if you're out walking, and that's why I'm saying we're not just locking it to holidays. But if you're out walking in the morning, and there's a guy coming down the street who looks like he's a walker as well, but you don't feel comfortable about it.
Right.
What's wrong about going on the other side?
Right.
Our culture says it's not polite.
Right.
You're going to
Manners,
be rude,
right,
manners and
right,
respect. But sometimes that you have to let the feeling
Guide you.
Guide you.
Yes,
And if you
I
don't
like
feel
that.
comfortable, go to the other side.
Yeah.
But also, if you're walking, why are you walking on a dark street?
Right.
Why are you
Right,
putting yourself in
right,
that position?
right,
Right. Call a friend. I'm out walking. If they couldn't make it, get them on the phone and talk to somebody. So things like that you have to be
Just
careful.
I have two questions. I don't know if we have time, but my
No, we
first
do.
question is: so a couple of years ago, I actually had some people come to my home to do some maintenance work. Right, it was a specialty type job that they came to do that required certain tools. Right, so not every Joe Blow would have those tools. So they came, they did the work, and 2 days later, someone broke in my house. They came in through the same area that this maintenance crew came to do whatever. So you had to have specialized tools to do what you did. What would your advice be to people who are having maintenance work done, or
people come to your house.
you're having people come to your house? What are and the only reason that we were not harmed is because we have a lock-off door that they couldn't enter, right? So what would your advice be to how you, and this was a reputable company, so this wasn't like a Joe Blow company. So give us some advice about prevention and protection in those areas where you need work done. You have a reputable company, but you still, like me, right, got robbed.
You would get, ask for the names of the individuals who's coming, right? Ask for some type of surety from the entity that the persons who you're sending into my home, into my private space, are good, reputable persons. A police record, as simple as that, right? And I say that, and people say, "Oh, you're overreacting again," right? But trust your gut,
right?
You understand? And where are you bringing them in? Is it a private space like what you suggested, right? Or are they just doing some painting outside?
Right.
If they're coming into your home and going into a private, that's a different level of security, a different level of due diligence that I would want to conduct. If you're working for a business and you're going into a business, let's use a radio station for example, right? We would want to know, the radio station would want to know, who are you sending to me as a vendor?
Right.
And as simple as the water delivery guy, right?
Right.
Who is this individual who's going to get access into my space? I tell my corporate clients and my residential clients, think about it. If I was to come to your door, right, you would, who are you? You won't let me in because you consider me a stranger.
Right.
But because I'm wearing a brand or a reputable brand, or I'm delivering water, I'm delivering a service, you're going to let me take it away through there, go through the room there, and you can rest it down. And as simple as that. As simple as that. And so you have to manage that, as opposed to, hey, leaving it right at the door.
Correct.
And I'll get it in one way or the other. We sort of let our guards down for convenience. And so you have to manage that based on where are you letting them in? Are they going, like I said, if they're doing a painting job and they're going to be on the outside, maybe not so much heavy due diligence. But if that painting now is going to come into a bedroom, is going to come into your inner space, into your inner sanctuary, that person is in there and they see everything.
Correct.
And be careful of the phone conversations that you're having while the person's at work. You're talking about a trip, you're talking about a spend, they're listening, and they say, hey, this person is going away, this person is going to be buying this, maybe this is something you want to look at. And again, unfortunately, it's not everybody.
Right.
And to stay on the scenario about painting, but unfortunately, if they paint everybody with the same brush, it is a society we're living in.
When my husband and I started living together, that was one of the immediate things that he changed, because I just let the people bring the water in.
Yeah.
And he's like, let them leave it to the door. I will bring it in, like when I get home. So my other question is that, we go to the ATM, different hours, right? I tell my people, go to the gas station if it's like dark, right? So what would your advice be about using the ATM during this season? Should you go during certain hours, or are the gas stations safer? And how do you deal with like scamming things on ATMs during this season? That's my question.
That's fine, but this goes back to planning and budgeting, right? If you know you're going to spend, I would recommend that you go via some digital platform, whether it's your card or some payment system, right? That's number one. So if I know I'm going to be spending X amount, I want to have that monies available, preferably available on one of my payment platforms, right? As opposed to having cash, right? Worst case scenario where you are having to deal with cash, certainly during the day, any one of the ATMs, in my opinion, once you would, again, if you step back a bit, if you see certain persons hanging out in the area of the ATM, you don't want to go in, regardless of the time of day. But during the day, I don't think there should be any issues with using any ATM. But certainly in the evening, I would prefer to go to a service station that has access, or some 24-hour operation that has people around, as opposed to going into an area, an isolated location, which unfortunately happens when you look at the financial institutions. There's no one there in the evening, and cameras tell you what happened.
Right.
You understand? After the fact.
Right.
So you don't want to say, well, they have cameras. Yeah, but you already got robbed. Don't put yourself in that position.
And we're about preventative measures.
Right.
Indeed. Say that again, sir. Preventative measures.
We are about preventative measures.
Indeed.
That's the name of the game here.
Sure.
And we're talking to our guest, Gamal Nuri. We're going to continue this great conversation right after this break.
Deck the hall with boughs of holly. 'Tis the season to be jolly. Oh, deck the hall with boughs of holly. 'Tis the season to be jolly.
Earning zero interest on your savings at the bank? With as little as $100, you can start earning interest on your money while you're sleeping, eating, or standing in line at the bank with the CFAL Savings Express Plan. Ready to invest? Start by putting $1,000 into our mutual funds and earn interest there too. Because at CFAL, your interest is our interest. Visit CFAL.com to start now. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations of Bahamians.
It's $1 million Christmas and Everybody Wins is hooking you up. From December 1st to December 29th, you can win cash giveaways. Get into the cash vault, spin and win, and take advantage of other random raffle drawers. Prizes like mortgage payments, rent payments, utility bills cleared, cold cash, and more. To enter, you must sign up and get a verified account and simply spend $20 or more and you're in. To be eligible, you must be 18 and over. It's $1 million Christmas with Everybody Wins. Terms and conditions apply.
Get ready to jingle all the way to Christmas with Fidelity's festive giveaway with over $10,000 in cash and prizes up for grabs. Apply for a loan or open an ASU savings account for a chance to win big. Visit any of our branches for more details. Terms and conditions apply.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Ready to save? You can put $100 into the CFAL Savings Express Plan and make sure your money keeps growing. Earn interest on your savings while you're sleeping, eating, or standing in line at the bank. Ready to invest? Start by putting $1,000 into our mutual funds and earn interest there too. Because at CFAL, your interest is our interest. Visit CFAL.com to start now. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations of Bahamians.
It's time for your morning business report brought to you by CFAL. The country has crossed the 8 million visitor threshold with 1 month left in the year and 1 month of visitor numbers left to tally. That's November. Acting Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, Investments in Aviation, Chester Cooper, revealed yesterday at a ceremony at Margaritaville Beach Resort marking the occasion. Cooper said that at last count, not including November or December numbers, the country has surpassed 8 million visitors. In the now beaten banner year of 2019, the country marked a record 7.2 million visitors. He explained that to date, in 2023, there have been more than 2 million stopover visitors, setting a new record for the total number of visitors in that category. That figure means cruise visitors into the country top 6 million so far for the year, with the Nassau Cruise Port Chief Executive Officer Mike Mora telling the media yesterday that it is likely the cruise port will end the year having welcomed some 4.4 million visitors. Switzerland headquartered Bank Pictet, which also has an office, Pictet Bank and Trust Limited in the Bahamas, has admitted to conspiring with U.S. taxpayers to hide assets and income in offshore accounts. The United States Attorney's Office of the Southern District of New York revealed yesterday that the bank has agreed to pay more than $122.9 million in restitution in order to defer prosecution for criminal misconduct in relation to conspiring with U.S. taxpayers and others to hide more than $5.6 billion in 1,637 secret bank accounts in Switzerland and elsewhere, and to conceal income generated in those accounts from the IRS. In addition, the Bahamas Bank Pictet has offices in Luxembourg, Hong Kong, Singapore, but primarily operates out of its Geneva, Switzerland headquarters. And furor erupted among Bahamian sports enthusiasts who are customers of Rev Cable Bahamas after viewing access to National Football League games on basic cable channels was blocked, prompting the Utilities Regulation and Competition Authority to launch an inquiry. When Rev customers attempted to tune into the games on certain channels they regularly have access to, they were met with a notice stating that due to the content restrictions, these channels are not authorized to broadcast NFL games. The advisory continued telling customers, quote, for increased access to NFL content, contact our customer care representatives to subscribe to NFL Sunday Ticket. More on that story in Guardian Business section. And cruise passenger traffic to increase by more than 1 million in 2024. Nassau Cruise Port is expecting to hit that new milestone next year when executives estimate the port will welcome some 5.6 million cruise visitors. The port's chief executive officer, Mike Mora Jr., said yesterday. Mora, who spoke to the media following the Ministry of Tourism, Investment and Aviation's announcement that the country has welcomed more than 8 million visitors to the country, setting a new record, explained that the upgraded cruise port has set the country on a path to welcome many more visitors by cruise line. In international business news, Wall Street opens lower as rally loses more steam. Wall Street is sagging again as a big rally that sent it to a 20-month high loses steam. The S&P 500 was 0.3% lower in early trading Tuesday and on track for its first back-to-back drop since October. The Dow fell 83 points and the Nasdaq Composite was off 0.4%. December's loss of momentum comes after stocks charged higher through November on hopes that the Federal Reserve may finally be done raising interest rates. More data will arrive later in the morning that can influence the Fed, whose next move on rates is due a week from Wednesday. Treasury yields also fell. Wall Street headed lower early Tuesday after Moody's Investor Service downgraded China's sovereign debt rating as the country's real estate crisis seeps into its local government and private financing. And now that's your morning business report that's brought to you by CFAL, growing wealth for future generations. And welcome back to Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. I'm Chester Robards, along with Duquesa Dean. We're having a wonderful conversation about preventative measures with the Chief of Preventative Measures, Gamal Nouri, who is telling us how to protect ourselves in the physical world as well as the digital world this holiday season. A very important conversation that we're having. I want to ask just personal protection stuff. I know you've been on to talk about weapons, legal weapons in your home, buying a gun.
Legal weapons.
Legal weapons
yes.
in your home. Buying a gun. I know there's been some whispers about more access to personal handguns.
Correct.
Maybe coming in the Bahamas. I don't know how much you can tell us about that, but what's your take on that, on carrying something for protection, having something in your home for protection?
Right. So as you're aware, I'm a director with the National Firearms Association.
Yes.
And certainly we are advocates for legal accessibility to firearms, trained, regulated accessibility to firearms. Yeah. We appreciate that, the criminal does not need to meet certain stipulations. They at will they go and get what they can. Yeah. But certainly the citizenry should have an opportunity to protect themselves, and at the highest tier. Yeah. And if it means we're not advocating taking life, but if it means that, and then certainly the opportunity should be afforded to that individual once they've been trained, once they've been properly vetted by the appropriate agencies. So certainly we are part of that drive. And we push training, we push regular training, reviews and competency, not just from a physical aspect, but certainly from a mental aspect.
Right.
You want to make sure that the individual that you are saying can carry that firearm has met the necessary physical and mental requirements to do that.
Yeah.
Now, when you would have done that, the individual now has to remember they have a responsibility to use that weapon necessarily and reasonably if that case comes up.
Yeah.
You know.
Remind people when those weapons can be used.
Right.
I don't think you're allowed to carry a firearm around with you in a vehicle.
But that's if you're carrying it. That again depends on the weapon type.
Okay.
If you're carrying a shotgun, if you're carrying a rifle, and you're carrying it as a regular thing in your it should not be the case. But there are instances now where fire handguns are being made more readily available, and the intent for that is for individuals to carry what you would call concealed carry.
Right.
And so that's a different dynamic. So it really depends on the firearm type.
Right.
Shotguns and rifles, which are quote unquote for hunting,
Right.
should not be a regular passenger in your vehicle.
Yeah.
No, that's not what the intent is for those particular devices.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you see a day where there won't be there'll be a check mark for other than hunting on the license application?
Certainly, if you so hunting is a general description I would use for shotguns and rifles. Certainly, those are the more popular licenses that are issued, but certainly individuals who work in security, the security industry, armored car persons, for example, or couriers, individual couriers, they would have a special license or get special permission to utilize in that particular capacity.
Right.
But the average citizen, you're packing the grocery and then you're packing the shotgun. No, it shouldn't be carried around with you.
Right.
Yeah.
I think only recently, I could be wrong, but the law enforcement officers are, I think, now being allowed to carry their service weapons in some capacities.
No, I think that's always the case. Certain
Okay.
officers were allowed to have access to a personal issue. Yeah, that's always been the case with law enforcement. We're hearing more about it, but no, that's always been the case for it. You had that opportunity. It wasn't a standard, but certainly it was available. The commissioner, at his discretion, determined who has that.
Okay.
So there's nothing wrong with that. I hear people frown on it, but I mean, again, it's the commissioner's discretion to determine the capabilities of an individual officer that they can have access over a longer period of time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. This person says, put random bear traps out. Okay, that's a text message. To protect your home, I guess.
Yeah.
That's not about the show. Good morning. Last Friday, my friend was followed on her way home at night. The culprits tried to run her off the road, both from the inside and outside of her vehicle. I don't know if I understand that. As she was coming nearer to her home, she started honking a car horn, and the persons turned off. P.S. What about people who put whole boxes that valuables come in outside in the garbage? I was going to ask about that.
Yeah, so what we talked about earlier, persons who have access. The various service persons may have access to your home, and be that through a service provider or the trash collector. So how you destroy or get rid of boxes that identify that it's a 70-inch television, it's a brand new item, you would want to destroy that inside first, and then you can put it into your trash receptacle, or take it into another trash receptacle, a larger bin, some general disposable area where you can do that, because you have to be careful of that type of activity, because that says a lot to what's inside the particular unit or home.
So do you mean like to cut it down and put it in a garbage bag? Or
Yes, cut it down, put it in a garbage bag, or if you so desire, take it to a different receptacle.
Okay.
This person asks if it's legal to have an air gun, and can someone bring one in their check luggage? Air rifles, airsoft, pellet, I guess.
Okay.
Pellet guns.
Certainly you'll have to get clearing from the police and customs as to that particular type, and get the necessary approval. I can't speak to legality, because that will be into the discretion of the agency.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true.
But don't just buy it and bring it. And
You'll find out.
You'll find out. Yes. You'll find out.
Quick.
This person says, great show as usual. It will be stupid not to be super cautious during the Christmas. And also, why do people go to shops carrying hanging bags to go to to their cars, stick their head in the trunk, and sort out their bags before going in the car.
That's a good observation. Right, you get bulk items, and now you have to try and regulate space, right? And again, the intention is very innocent, but now you realize, hey, I'm running out of space, so now I have to go into my trunk and do some sorting and organizing, right? And not just here, especially Bahamians who are going into the U.S. You're being watched. This is the holiday season.
Yeah.
So criminals are saying, hey, a lot of shopping is going to be going on. We only need one or two of you to be slack in your method, right? So certainly that's something you have to be careful of.
Yeah. This person says, great show as usual. Okay, I'm not reading that part. But anyway, this person says, put the 75-inch TV screen box in your neighbor garbage.
Not a good neighbor, eh?
No,
not a good neighbor.
Not a neighborly thing to do.
That's terrible.
What I would say, for businesses in particular, because we know we're talking a lot about the individual, but businesses, you have to determine, are you selling a service? And I'd say, for example, hairstylists. Bahamian women now, this is glamour season again, right? A lot of events are going to be happening. And so hair salons, those individuals, try to transition to some type of online payment system. Because again, there's the expectation that you're going to have high cash volume. But get your clients to pay digitally. We talked about a few platforms, Canoe and the Sand Dollar, credit card system, whatever it is, give them your account information and then direct deposit to your account. Something of that, so you could reduce the amount of cash. Certainly, if you're now selling products, you just bought in a shipment of a product that you anticipate would sell. You have to monitor how those items are going to be sitting and persons attempting to shoplift and physically walk out with those things. So there's so much things happening in the dynamics, the busyness of the store, persons walking in, walking out. How do you put the necessary resources out there, not just your human resources, but there's also technology. There are cameras, there are tracking systems you can use for products. All of these things should now be in play. If they weren't before, certainly they should be in play now.
Do you think that cameras are a deterrent?
Definitely.
Okay.
Cameras are a deterrent. They are definitely, I think, on one side they're a deterrent, but they give to the business owner, unfortunately, a false sense of security because they will deter, yes, a certain percentage.
Right.
But again, persons are going to, in situations, persons come in and they remove the cameras or they remove the DVR. I certainly recommend now, with today's technology, that you put your storage, go to the cloud, let it store up in the cloud. And so you can have some way of retrieving it later on, and certainly maximize the camera. Cameras have built-in notification systems, so you can have motion, you can have how people are moving, so you can get those alerts before, and you can see and try to prevent the crime from occurring.
Last year, my neighbors were having a function.
Sure.
Pure Christmas. And there were like a bunch of them gathered, and somebody came right there and robbed them while they were at their gathering for Christmas. Any recommendations on, as families gather or business functions and parties, what are some of the things that you can do? Because you're relaxed, you're happy, you're laughing, you may be having some apple cider. If you're Chester, you may be having some wine. So like what would you say proactively people can plan for before they begin enjoying this season?
Who is on your invitation list? Check the people who are coming into your home. As simple as that, I mean, that's, oh no, it's Christmas. No, but who are you inviting?
Right.
And you have to be very sensitive to that. That I'm inviting my good cousin.
Her new boyfriend.
Wow.
You may not have invited her new boyfriend. She might have just decided to bring someone uninvited.
Yeah. So those things, and I don't believe in randomness. How, for example, using that scenario, right? How did they know that they were having a party?
Right.
Who was going to be there? What was available at that party? So those things you have to determine. This goes back to planning. Right. This goes back to knowing your environment. Evaluate who you're exposing yourself to, and have the party. You don't have the party, but these are risks that you have to accept. Okay.
It's a great conversation. We quickly run out of time, but just before we have to go, tell us what all preventative measures does for their clients. What do you offer? What can people expect when they call you?
Well, our primary service is consulting and training. We provide consulting services to the client, corporate individuals, about what are you doing now and how do we close some of those gaps. And so we develop a strategy, and then we provide the training for your staff or you as an individual to help close some of those gaps. And our training crosses the full gambit of security and loss prevention. So from a corporate perspective, it may be business continuity and disaster management. From a residential, it may be home invasion response. How do I respond to a home invasion? What types of improvised tools and weapons I may have available to me. So we do that. We do investigative services. We help design and implement security systems. So be it cameras, access controls, those types of things. So the full gambit of security solutions. Right? We also have a cyber awareness program that's out there. Yeah. So certainly the full gambit of security solutions. Yeah.
What I guess quickly, for people, what kind of stuff in your home that you might not think of can you use for protection if there's an invasion or something?
There's an aerosol can right there on the desk. Okay. There's an aerosol can. Certainly, if you're looking at wires or cords which can be used to help defend against, and that comes with training. So it's one thing to say, this is what you can do, but now how do I do it?
Right.
It's
so you don't take the aerosol can, roll it into the room that day, and shoot at it.
No.
No.
I never thought of Bagon as a weapon, but hey.
Yeah, if you
thank you for that.
Or any type of aerosol that goes and sprays a mist, it gives you that time to make the escape.
Right.
So don't think it's a one, what do you call it, a magic bullet, right?
Yeah.
But it is something to buy you time and to create distance, allow you to get to the room. Design your house. I think you mentioned about even a safe room, a lock-off room, what we call a safe room, right? So we may want to have that design into the home, and again, educate persons, kids especially, on what to do in the event something like that happens. Where do they go? Do they try to make it from their room to the parents' room? No, maybe they need to be locked away or know a secure space in that home or in their room that they can secure themselves. So we would walk through with them and we evaluate what are the risks, neighborhoods, relatives, who has numbers, who has access, that type of thing.
I find myself closing the baby gate at night, just thinking to myself, okay, if something happens, this person A doesn't know how to open the baby gate right away, and they don't know it's there, so I don't know, I just think
time
about these
bias,
things.
Right, and and it's interesting like that because I use the term access and availability, and when I ask a client about access, no one has access, no one. Access, a lot of persons, when you sit down and you start to mark off, a lot of persons have access. They may not have availability of the access all the time. But going right back to the person who's delivering the water, the person who cleans the yard, that's access. Okay? They may not have access or available access to them all of the time, but they have access. So these are the things you want to look at. So when you start to do your risk assessment or evaluate who are the threats, who is the gardener? Who is the person delivering the water? Who is the person painting? Who is the mechanic coming to do the service? And who's the car guy? Who's the mobile car washing service? And this is not to knock these guys and their entrepreneur skills, but you need to know who has access.
Absolutely. That's great advice.
Yeah, great.
And I like someone said before, nobody knows the layout of your home like you. So if somebody breaks and cut off the lights.
They've been there.
They've been there. Yeah.
They've been there.
Yeah. It's a great conversation.
Good man, always pleasure.
Thank you so much. How can people contact you if they need?
Well, certainly I'm available on the social media platforms, Gamal Nuri, or Preventative Measures. We're on all of them, Instagram, the LinkedIn, the Facebook, the Twitter, or was it X now? Sorry. Is it X? So we're available on those platforms. I can be reached directly at 357-9949. And like I said, the easiest way to start that initial contact is via one of the social media platforms. Yeah?
Excellent.
Gamal Nuri or Preventative Measures.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
We appreciate that. Okay. Just thought that was an interesting text message that was coming in. That's our show for this morning. Tequestadine, thank you so much.
Thank you. It was a great show.
Appreciate you. Glad I got to have the time with you. And we'll be back tomorrow. I'll be back tomorrow and the rest of the week. Have a great day. God bless. Be good to each other. On the clock.